and get this party started. And man, y'all, Nicola did a great job of hyping folks up as we were letting the call build. So my name is Clayton Tucker. I am the president of the Texas Progressive Caucus, and let's get this show on the road. And thank y'all so much for being here on a Saturday, the Saturday before the early vote starts. So to quickly read off our agenda, it's going to be a jam-packed meeting. I will pass it to our VP, Ahmad, to let folks know what they'll be hearing, who they'll be hearing from today. Ahmad?
Thank you, Clayton, and thank you, Nicolette. I love your spirit, Nicolette. Everyone is excited. Couple of more days till early voting. Folks, the Texas Progressive Caucus started May 2022. We have had 2 happy hour caucuses so far at the state conventions. The Texas Progressive Caucus, along with other progressive organizations in Texas, have amended the platform of the Texas the Texas Democratic Party, and we have issued the first ceasefire resolution December 2023, the first state party in the union. Folks, we will have some great speakers with us today. We will have Jim Hightower, the former Agriculture Commissioner, Monique Alcala, the Executive Director of the Texas Democratic Party, and a speaker or a representative from the Kamala Harris campaign, Heather Booth. We will have about 32 Texas candidates, so we welcome all of you. We thank you for being here. After the candidates, we will have the open mic, question and answer. Again, thank you for spending your time with us here on Saturday, and looking forward to have a good time and have a great Progress the Vote rally. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmad. And to our Secretary Trish Contreras for our quick community guidelines for a powerfully progressive and productive meeting.
Just real quick, guys, change happens in different ways. Today, we will focus on change in this way through the Democratic Party. If this aligns with your theory of change, you're welcome here. If not, we kindly ask you not to disrupt the presentation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Trish. So as Ahmad said, a quick bit about the TXPC. I know many of y'all are members and are very familiar with our work, but for the new folks, we are a 100% volunteer-run organization that is fully supported by the generosity of our members. Since our founding in 2022, we helped elect hundreds of progressives into various party positions, such as national delegates, precinct chairs, county chairs, SDEC, that's the State Democratic Executive Committee, and a whole lot more. But this year is the first year we are getting into public offices because our members told us to, and we are a membership-driven organization. So we hope that if you are not yet a member, that you will become a member, but we'll talk more about that soon. Our mission is very simple. And we like to read a quote from Jim Hightower, who we'll be hearing from very soon, is that we are not here to just protest the government. We are here to become the government. Because many folks have forgotten, and this is because the GOP wants us to forget, that Texas launched the progressive movement back in the 1800s. It was in the 1880s from Ryan Passes, just a couple miles away from my family ranch, and all the animals you'll see today are critters that are currently there. And from that movement grew the National Farmers Alliance, the Populist Party, and eventually the New Deal. So we like to say Texas started the progressive movement, and it's going to be Texas that finishes the progressive movement. So we basically strive for 4 things, which these 4 things we believe can be wrapped up in a very simple phrase of no one left behind. Not left behind in healthcare and education and the economy and housing and civil rights or in democracy. But another way to put it is FDR's 4 freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. So we'll be posting this link in the chat throughout the meeting. We have a list of roughly 200,000 progressives who we do not think that we are very concerned that they may not vote this year. And we want to make sure that they do not skip out this election, because this election is too important for anyone to sit on the sidelines. Our democracy cannot function that way. So we are going to be reaching out these folks, these likely progressives who we are very concerned that they may sit this one out. and we're going to talk to them and try to get them out to vote. If this is something you believe you can support, then we ask you to help us reach these folks. So you can do this by going to our website, and we'll be posting this link in the chat as well, www.texasprogressivecaucus.org/GOTV. From there, you'll be able to help add to our Get Out the Progressive Vote Fund. And with that, we are going to be having our first guest speaker of today, the one and only Commissioner Jim Hightower. Now, I've started working with Hightower back in 2018, what feels like 3.5 lifetimes ago. And it's been really an honor to work with him. He was a former ag commissioner and is America's #1 progressive populist. So we are going to be hearing from Jim right now, and I believe I saw him in the room. So Jim, are you there?
Okay, there we go. How's that? Is that working? No.
Perfect.
All right, beautiful.
You're good.
Amazing. Even I can work technology with the help of Clayton Tucker, making it possible. But anyway, it's a joy for me to join this terrific gathering of you unabashed progressive Democrats in the state of Texas as we try to organize and mobilize to defeat that menagerie of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, the Silicon Hill William, as I call him, and of course Ted Cancun Cruz, Goofy, Sleepy, Dopey, and even Elon Musk. The whole menagerie that we're taking on, as Bill Moyers once said, the absurd is no longer theoretical; it is taken in the seat of power in our country and in our state. So that's what we're up against. The polls show this to be a very tight election. As Yogi Berra said, it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future. Well, that's Yogi. So it's our job to make our own predictions come true. And that's what this rally is all about. Because this is, as Clayton and all the others are pointing out, it's common at this time of any election that minor sparklies like me come on and say, you've got to do something. This is really an important election. But this time, people, we are really serious about it. It's really serious. We've got to do it because of that menagerie that wants to take America back, as they say, back to pre-New Deal, back to pre-women's rights, back to pre-civil rights, back to pre-labor rights, back to the ancient ages that were not so good. So it's really up to us. Candidates are doing their part. They're all scrambling, and you're going to hear from some today from our great state of Texas. And by the way, the candidates are not just Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, not just Colin Allred. They are our terrific state legislative candidates. The possibility of at least denting, if not actually this time, taking back that legislature to the people. From the corporate powers and screwballs that presently run it. So the candidates are doing their part, but it's up to us to inform, educate, and beg people to come out, not just get their family involved, get their friends involved, get their acquaintances, get strangers involved, get their dog to go vote if they can possibly do it. Let's make it all happen. It's not just the credibility and hopes of the candidates that are at stake here. It's our credibility, and you have the strongest voice, more so than a candidate, because a candidate is perceived as having obviously a special interest, which is to get elected. But you have a citizen interest, a public interest in having a better world. And so your voice has credibility because it is sincere, it is deep, it's trusted, it's true. And so you as much speaking as you can do to as many people as you can do is going to make a world of difference, because there are people who will trust you saying, this is important, let us do it together. I heard the other day a Republican said, well, sometimes Ted Cruz is his own worst enemy. And I said, not while I'm alive, he's not. That's got to be our attitude. We have got to be the enemy of the enemies of the people, which in this case are the Ted Cruzes and Donald Trumps and J.D. Vances and that whole menagerie up there. So we've got to talk to friends, talk to colleagues, talk to strangers. You are the Democratic Party. You are the future of our country. So you have the credibility and the voice to make the difference in this campaign. It is literally this time us versus them. The Trump and gang, they've got the billionaires on their side. In fact, they have what I call the 6 Bs, the bosses, the bankers, billionaires, big shots, bastards, and bullshitters who think they're the top dogs, and we're just a bunch of fire hydrants out here. So it's time for us to stand up, push back with a majority of the people of this state, and reclaim our legislature, to reclaim our values of fairness and justice and equal opportunity for all people. So make yourself proud on November 5th by working hard between now and November 5th. Thank you very much. Great to be with you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate you having the time to be with us today. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our next speaker, Monique Alcala. Next slide, please. Monique is the Executive Director of the Texas Democratic Party. Prior to this, she served as the Southwest Regional Director for State and Local Campaigns at Emily's List, the nation's largest resource for women in politics. She has over a decade of experience on campaigns. In 2020, she served as the Coalition Director for Biden-Harris campaign in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Monique is a political partner at Truman National Security Project. Her area of expertise is on race, ethnicity, inequality, and political participation. She is a runner and a national parks and public transit enthusiast and is based in Austin, Texas. Please welcome Monique Alcala.
Thank you so much, Imad. And thank you all for inviting me. I was really excited whenever I got this invitation. Thank you so much, Clayton, and the entire Progressive Caucus. I see so many people that I've met over the last year, and I think 2 months in my role as the first woman of color to ever occupy this role as the executive director at the Texas Democratic Party. And, I've been thinking a lot about what I wanted to talk about here today. I didn't write a speech, but I thought a lot about the idea of progressivism and sort of what that means to me. And I think that I want to talk a little bit about this during the time that I have. One, to talk about 3 things. One, why I do this work, because I think that's really critical. And then 2, how that's influenced the way that we have structured things at the Texas Democratic Party. And then the last thing is what are the next steps for us as a party and post-election, going into election and in the future. And I won't take too long on this. I'm not going to go over my resume or anything. I don't think those things are truly important, other than they helped me have really incredible experiences with some really amazing people throughout the years. I've worked on both campaigns, electoral politics, and then also with nonprofit organizations, really trying to push the needle on getting better policy passed throughout the country. But the main reason why I do this work is because of people like both my immigrant Filipino grandmother who came here from Manila, who just wanted to be near her family. She was very easily, if I had to define some of my personality, she is very easily was one of the strongest women that I knew. She could not be taken down at all, just like every other Filipino woman that I know, like Nicolette. There was nothing that could stand in her way. There was no barrier or any problem that she encountered that she could not solve. And similarly, my Mexican grandmother, who went to a segregated school in Buda, Texas, her younger brother by several years was the first Mexican American to graduate from a high school in Hays County. His name is Onisimo. And she was also, when in her 50s, she opened the first Mexican restaurant in Buda. And she did this as a woman. She did this as a Mexican, as somebody who grew up picking cotton and just was really faced with a lot of discrimination and racism throughout her life, as was my other grandmother, my Filipino grandmother, Amelia. So I take these experiences along with just the support of my father, who passed away in 2022, just a few weeks before the election, who really looked at what could he do and what could he contribute to this world that would create community and ensure that he was doing what he can to just make a difference in people's lives. For him, that was being a coach. And, I do think that there's a lot of that in the way that I approach my role as the executive director at TDP. And those are the people that inspired me to do all of the work that I did on immigrants' rights, on women's rights. And when I got to Emily's list, I loved my job. I loved working for people who were severely underfunded, who were just the most outstanding progressive women, pro-choice women candidates throughout my region. And it was always a challenge. It was always not just an intellectual challenge, but just a opportunity for me to figure out how to make a difference and how to get good people elected. And but when my father passed away, I thought of all of the things that he used to grouse about whenever I started getting into politics. And I knew that he wanted to see a Texas that just looked a little bit different, something that he could have been really proud of. And I don't think I'm going to cry, but so when this job came open at TDP, I really wanted it. I wanted to do my part to help make Texas bluer and to ensure that we created a state that that he could have been proud of. And so I ended up getting this job, and the way that I have approached the work at TDP is that I really think about how we can create a public square or more discourse, make it to where people have ways to meaningfully engage, whether it's campaigns or whether it is supporting campaigns or just ensuring that we have enough volunteers that can be knocking on doors whenever it comes campaign time. And the role that I know that progressives like us play is that we have our both our passion and our heart and soul that's at the center of making sure that the Democratic Party can just be a little bit better. And we do this because we know that the world can be a lot different. So I'm super excited to be here today to say hello and to also welcome my friend Heather Booth, who is a legend in this space. She's done a lot of the things that I know that I really would like to aspire to just think about making a difference in this world. And that is things like the Jane project that she did out in Chicago to ensure that women had access to reproductive care. So I'm so excited that we worked together back in 2020. And she was somebody that I got to know and really inspired me to stay in this work, especially when it got really hard. So thank you so much for having me here today. I cannot wait to see y'all on election day and to see y'all on the ground.
Well, thank you all. You are the champions of Texas. And if you bring home Texas, you're the champions of the country and in many ways, the champions of the world. And you're the people who can really do that. You can create this victory with your organizing at the grassroots, the phone banking, the sending messages, and especially going door to door, contacting people in person. I do want to thank my friend Monique for your leadership, as well as Clayton Tucker and all those on this call and all those magnified who are part of this Progressive Caucus and part of democratic move to a better future. You're leaders who value organizing and value people. And that's what attracts many of us to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They care about people. But we need to let people know about who they are. Many don't know yet. It seems impossible, but it's true. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz are fighting for a new way forward that protects our fundamental freedoms, strengthens our democracy, and ensures every person has the opportunity not to just get by, but to get ahead. We need to repeat that message. Kamala Harris has stood up for the people against predators, scammers, and powerful interests for her whole life. She made clear that building up the middle class is the defining goal of her presidency. And that's why she'll make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for Americans. As president, she'll fight to cut taxes for more than 100 million middle-class Americans while lowering costs on everyday items like healthcare, housing, and groceries. She'll bring together labor, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and others to create good-paying jobs, grow the economy, and ensure that America continues to lead the world. And we plan on winning the Senate with Colin Allred, and now in a dead heat with not only Cancun Ted Cruz, but supply closet Ted Cruz, because that's where he hid when there was the assault on the Capitol and an assault on a democracy, which he mocked. And we also need to win, as Jim Hightower said, at the legislative and local levels. And you can do all of this. When we fight, we win. I first learned that lesson when I was in the early civil rights movement. In 1964, I went to Mississippi, the state where I was born, to volunteer with the Freedom Summer Project many of you have heard about. We wanted to support courageous African Americans who were trying to live with dignity and vote for a better life. But because people organized, we passed a Voting Rights Act. And for 50 years, that was the law of the land, and we were moving toward that greater democracy and justice for all. And we know this is threatened by Donald Trump's Project 2025 and Ted Cruz's drive for power. But expanding freedom and democracy is a vision that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, Colin Allred, and the rest of you, all of us share. Now, after that summer in 1964, I returned to my college campus in Chicago in 1965, and a friend contacted me and said his sister was pregnant and just not prepared to have a child, and asked if I could do something and find someone to provide an abortion. I didn't really know anything about that at the time, but I contacted a friend of mine who was in the medical arm of the civil rights movement, a remarkable doctor named Dr. T.R.M. Howard. And I asked him if he could do the procedure. He said he would. It was successful, and I thought that was the end of it. But then someone else called, and then someone else called, and I made those arrangements. But because 3 people talking about abortion in Chicago in 1965 was a conspiracy to commit a felony, we decided to call the service Jane. And over time, I recruited women to Jane who themselves performed over 11,000 abortions before Roe. There's much more to the story. But Donald Trump's handpicked members of the Supreme Court will take away this freedom for women to control our own bodies. He even brags about it. He says, I did it and I'm proud to have done it. He even called for punishment for women who have an abortion. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz trust women to make our own decisions with our own bodies and not have the government tell us what we need to do. And we can win this and more when we organize. On healthcare, on freedom, on holding banks accountable, on marriage equality, for strengthening Social Security and Medicare, for a just society. You make it all possible when you do this work. You are the freedom fighters of this day. Thank you for what you've done so far. Thank you for what we'll do together. You can feel the hope and joy of this campaign, even though we know it's going to be a very close election. But often from this history I've shared, you'll see that when things seem most challenging, we've often been able to win when we've organized with love at the center. And that's what you're doing. It's now up to us, those at the grassroots, to seize this moment. And as Kamala Harris says, when we fight, we win. And say it all together. When we fight, we win. And all together, when we fight,
we win.
win.
Thank you so much, Heather, for joining us today and giving us that experience, that wisdom that progressives have fought for long and hard. We have amazing progressives running in Texas. We have people on the ballot line, in the trenches. Some of the people you hear from today will be within 5 points of winning their seats. We not only need to elect Kamala Harris as president and Waltz, I have my coach shirt on today, as vice president, but we need to get our down ballot Texas electeds into office. You will hear from many people today, but this is just a small sliver of the number of progressives that we have endorsed as the Texas Progressive Caucus. To find out more about that information, you can go to our website and find a full list of endorsed candidates there. That's texasprogressivecaucus.org. And more than that, we need you to also volunteer. We need you to be the voice, those boots on the ground that you heard from Jim Hightower himself. We have to be the change and make sure that those down ballot candidates are voted for. We call that in Texas down ballot drop off. And down ballot drop off is when people will vote for the president, vice president, senator, congressional seats, some of these people with a lot of money, but they'll leave empty those down ballot seats for House, Texas Senate, and their local. So we need you to get out there, push those volunteer issues. And you know, one of these amazing progressives that you're going to meet right now is Dr. Kristin Hook. I had the pleasure of meeting Kristin in San Antonio, and she is fire, y'all. She is, you know, smart. She's organized. She's running a fantastic campaign. If you live in the San Antonio area, I encourage you to volunteer for her. I also encourage you to block walk for her. She's running a full-fledged campaign down there. So please make sure that you connect with these local candidates. Dr. Kristin Hook is a scientist running against Chip Roy. She grew up in South Texas and was the first to go to college, earning her PhD from Cornell University. She spent 15 years championing change as a scientist, teacher, union leader, advocate, and for immigrant children and grassroots efforts. She became a public servant for the U.S. Senate in the National Institute of Health and Government Accountability Office. She is the type of person that we need making these decisions in Texas, in the Texas House. And without further ado, Dr. Kristin Hook, are you ready to get this candidate campaign started?
I am. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Awesome. And shout out to Nicolette for reminding me. I had it in my calendar. I'm on a drive up to Blanco from where I live in San Antonio. So I'm so thankful that you pinged me because I'm like, oh my God, I absolutely need to stop really quick to say hi. So hi everybody. I'm in the middle of Texas 21 here. And I am so excited to be and really honored to be endorsed by you guys and excited to be a candidate for the first time this year. What an exciting year to be running for office and standing up for the values that we champion. It's incredibly important that we have public servants who actually care about serving us. And I'm running against one of the worst possible people that we have representing us. I'm going to put that in quotes here in Texas, Chip Roy. Beto actually recently went so far as to call him, the worst politician here. And I think we've got a lot of them. We've got a number of them, but this is a person who, whether you live in our district or not, he's still your problem because He is an obstructionist in our government. He prevents us from getting things done for people. He used to work for Ken Paxton. He used to work for Ted Cruz. This is not a person that we need representing us because he's too extreme for our district and he's too extreme for our state. And we have a lot of problems that we need to solve. And that's why I'm running for office for the first time as a scientist. I'm trained to solve complex problems. And that's what I want to do for us here in Texas. I, am 40. I still am paying student loans. We have huge water issues here in Texas that need to be addressed. We need to have leaders who take the climate crisis as seriously as it deserves, and we need real solutions for these challenges. I'd also argue we are the fastest growing population here in Texas in our district because 2 of the top 10 counties in Texas that have grown the most rapidly over the last 2 years have been here in our district. And then San Antonio, where I live, it was the fastest growing city in the country as of last year, according to the US Census Bureau. So we've got a lot of changes happening here, and we need politicians and people who can see past their nose, people who are more interested in improving our lives and working together to solve problems rather than creating them. So I am really proud to be running for the first time. And like Christy said, it's really nice to cross paths with you, even if virtually. But like Christy said, all of the down ballot candidates, we really need your help. The most effective thing you can do, evidence-based thing you can do, is knock doors and come and help reach all of the voters that we need to mobilize and get out the vote, the GOTV efforts. Early voting starts Monday. We really need to be knocking as many doors as possible. So I would really appreciate if you guys could make sure that, you're showing up for your local candidates and get involved. To learn more about me, you can go to Hook for Texas, HOOKFORTEXAS.com. And I so appreciate the time, and thank you all for letting me be here. Nice to see you.
All right, up next, we have Kenneth Bell speaking. He's running for the El Paso City Council along with our good friend, Wesley. Do we have Wesley on the line, everyone? If we do not, I'm going to go ahead.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, hi, Wesley. Good to see
Sorry
you.
about that.
No problem. Good to see you.
It's good to be here. Yeah, I just want to thank the Texas Progressive Caucus for endorsing myself and Kenneth Bell for El Paso City Council here in District 3. Just a little bit of information about Kenneth. Kenneth is a community organizer. He's a candidate for El Paso City Council here in District 3, and he's a strong supporter of progressive causes. He was the president of Justicia Fronteriza, which is a local progressive organization here in El Paso that has done so much great work for our community. And I'm really excited to hopefully serve with Kenneth after this November election, really ensuring that we do everything that we can to build progressive power here in El Paso. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Kenneth.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for endorsing me. And thank you again, Wesley, for that great introduction. So I'm Kenneth Bell, running for City Council District 3. I'm out here canvassing right now. I think it's about to rain, but I got my ponchos, so doesn't matter. Nothing's going to stop this movement. It's important that we support down ballot candidates, especially at the local level. El Paso is a Democratic city, but we have an opportunity to transform this into a progressive Democratic city. But so long as we get the right people on council, like myself, like Wesley Lawrence, who's running for District 4. And, I'm out here knocking on doors almost every day. I'm the only candidate who's knocking on doors, surprisingly. But, at the local level, there are some people who just run for the sake of running. And there are some of us who actually run to serve. And that's what I'm doing. I'm running to serve the people of District 3 and serve the people of El Paso. And we have a lot of issues that need to be addressed. And we need the right people who understand community issues and who are prepared to address these issues. And I'll tell you some of the things that people are saying about me. I've been called a communist. I've been called a Hamas supporter. This morning, actually, a local libertarian influencer has told his supporters that I won't stay in my lane when it comes to social justice issues, particularly when it comes to BDS. And Wesley knows this local libertarian very well. He can tell you more stories about that. But you know what? I wear all of that with a badge of honor. When I served in the State Democratic Executive Committee in 2020, I fought for pro-Palestine resolutions. So yes, I strongly believe that, a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, or injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And we are all connected, whether you're in El Paso, whether you're in Tarrant County, Harris County, San Antonio, right? We are the next generation of Democratic leaders. It is our responsibility to return Texas blue and keep it blue. And that's up and down the ballot, whether it's supporting Kamala Harris, whether it's supporting Colin Allred, or supporting all of our local Democrats. So my name is Kenneth Bell. Please go to my website, kennethbelltx.com. And if you're feeling generous, please donate to my campaign. Thank you all so much.
Hey, y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hey, y'all. It's Josh here from CD28 on the SDEC and Bexar County Young Dems. I'm excited to introduce my friend Eric Norman, a proud native of McAllen who moved to Seguin in 2019. Eric is running for Texas House District 44. He's the co-founder of Community Cycle Seguin, a nonprofit community bike shop, and Eric has shown his commitment to building stronger, more connected communities. His leadership extends beyond the bike shop, and he serves as a board member and a volunteer with organizations like LULAC, Christian Cupboard, and the Downtown Business Alliance. Eric is driven by a vision of equity and opportunity, pledging to fight against school vouchers, making housing more affordable, restoring reproductive rights, and expanding Medicaid. He also champions the legislation of full recreational cannabis use, standing firm in his belief that bold changes are needed to uplift all Texans. Eric Norman will fight for the hardworking people of Guadalupe and Gonzales counties, and I'm proud to introduce my friend Eric Norman, the next rep for House District 44.
Hey, Josh, everybody, can you hear me? I'm coming to you live from downtown Seguin. There's an event going on in the park, but it's a little bit loud, so I decided to come out here under the shade of a huge oak tree. And actually, my opponent, Alan Schoolcraft, is here, so I'm running for HD 44 in Guadalupe and Gonzales counties. And for those of you that don't know, Alan Schoolcraft is the single largest recipient of the donations from Governor Greg Abbott, something to the tune of about $840,000. And so supporting public ed is probably the biggest push that I'm making. If you want to support, you can visit ericfortx.com, ERIC for TX.com. Luckily, we've had enough support come in that we're about to roll out today some OTT over the top advertising. So we'll be on CNN, Fox, and Hulu as well. We've been running ads and getting a lot of traction on Facebook and Instagram. My race is one that's probably not getting a lot of attention as one of the more flippable ones, but to be honest, I feel like we've done an excellent job. We've had a lot of volunteers come forward with specific skills in marketing, videography. My wife is a graphic designer. So we're kind of punching above our weight, and we're building a huge coalition. In fact, on Tuesday, I had an event organized for and supported by Republicans that are supporting my campaign. So if you want to contribute, any funding that I get is going to go towards my GOTV efforts that are going to be over the top. Again, Hulu, Fox, CNN. And if you're in Austin, we're not far, and we could definitely use some block walkers. And I hope you all have a great day. I am grateful to have so many good candidates that are friends of mine that I've met through this process, and appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Well, this is LaTanya, and I'm a board member of Texas Progressive Caucus, and I'm also the founder of cannabis reform in Houston, and we're for legalizing in Texas. Cannabis is not a drug or narcotic. It is medicine. Okay. So just wanted to get that straight. All right. So who I'm introducing is Darrel Evans. Okay, there we go. He's running for HD 89. Thank you, Christy. Now, Americans deserve leaders who care about and respond to our needs and concerns. As a father, husband, and a neighbor, Darrel is running to support public schools, which is our future, increasing access and affordability to our healthcare systems. There's many people dying because they can't afford insurance, and improve a local infrastructure. And that's important too as well. Endorsed by Team Beto. All right, that's my boy. Mothers Against Greg Abbott. Those are my people too. Progress Texas, Collin County, Stonewalls Dams. Ooh, that's what's up. And Representative Anne Marie Ramos. Darrel, take the floor.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Sure.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you can see me or not, but I'm also in the car, driving from event to event. I just do want to thank everybody for, showing up today and being on this call. I was, again, Darrel Evans. I'm running for House District 89, and that covers the eastern part of Collin County. And they redistrict us in a pretty rural area. Now, a lot of that space out there was, hayfields and cornfields and that kind of thing. And now there's, tens of thousands of folks that have moved out there to start families and all the new builds, but they really desperately need infrastructure. And when I'm block walking, we've knocked thousands of doors. I've handed out over 5,000 pieces of lit. We've got we've got a pretty robust get out the vote effort that's underway right now. And when I'm talking to folks, they really are wondering, when's my high school going to be built? When what's the deal with these vouchers? What's going on with public education here? And also Medicaid expansion. So those are the three things that have really been resonating in this in my district. And so rather than me coming out with a platform early on, I did a listening tour where we were just asking folks, and that's more or less how we kind of came up with, what we were going to move forward. I'm absolutely a champion for public education. I have a servant leader's heart. I ran for city council in Lowry Crossing, lost by only 2 votes. So I understand that we need to, run to the very last second of this race and get folks to come out. Now, when Colin and Kamala are bringing folks out to vote, we do have what's called, what they said earlier, which is that down ballot or that down ballot drop off. But when a down ballot candidate brings folks out, they're voting Democrat all the way down until they find the person that they came out for. So, energizing and investing in down ballot candidates really is the ticket to turn Collin County blue and Texas blue as well. So if you go to electdarrelevans.com, you can invest in our campaign. It's an investment to really bring us, these progressive values to the forefront. And, as progressives, our job is, or Democratic progressives, our job is to, support Democrats and move that message. But after elections are over, and I don't have to tell anybody on this call, our job is to move the Democratic Party as far left as we can as well. Because, I think we are the true soul of the Democratic Party. So I do want to thank everybody on this call. I want to thank Julio Acosta, who is my campaign manager, and I've gotten invaluable advice from him throughout the campaign. So I do want to thank everybody. Again, electdarrelevans.com. I was endorsed by y'all pretty early on. I think it was like February or something. So, I've been a candidate for y'all for a good amount of time, and I've been a progressive for over 20 years. So I really embody the values that y'all do as well. And I just want to thank everybody, all the candidates on this call that are fighting, and everyone that's supporting us, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. This is Julio Acosta. Yes, definitely. You have the link, electdarrelevans.com in the chat. And it's my honor also to introduce Cassandra Hernandez, who's running for Texas House District 115 in the North Dallas area. She's a trial lawyer and community volunteer running for state representative. It was through her community service that led her to get more involved in helping elect strong Democrats by block walking and holding fundraisers. Cassandra's organizing experience includes organizations like Sick of It Texas, which is a great organization that y'all should definitely Google. It's fighting to expand Medicaid here in Texas, which is a huge need. She led a statewide women's caucus group, joined the fight for common sense gun legislation as an Everytown Fellow. She believes in fully funding public schools, increasing access to healthcare, and ensuring strong public safety, and addressing the fentanyl crisis. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Cassandra Hernandez.
Thanks so much, Julio. Hi, everybody. This is Cassandra Hernandez. Just like Julio was saying, I'm running for House District 115. That's to replace my dear friend and mentor, Representative Julie Johnson, who's going off to Congress and will be replacing Colin Allred in Congressional District 32. And so just a little bit about me. In addition to being a trial lawyer, I also practice in immigration as well. Which I always stress to everyone is very important. There's currently only one member in the Texas legislature, Roland Gutierrez, that has an immigration background in law. And so my election, essentially, me getting elected to the Texas legislature, will put another person with that knowledge in the Texas House, which quite honestly, we deeply need. We've seen just this last leg session how, in particular, our Latino community, our undocumented community has essentially become a scapegoat for the Republican Party. And so making sure that we have folks that understand the complexity of the immigration system, as well as enforcement and all of those type of things, will be really important in being able to be a great advocate for our immigrant communities, not just for the Latino and the undocumented, but that also includes all immigrant communities as well. And so I look forward to fighting on those type of issues. Just like Julio was saying, Texas legislature is not a foreign place for me. I'm sure as most people who are on this call right now, there are so many different issues that touches all of us that has really, in particular, touched me in whether losing my father to gun violence at a young age, or wanting to support and help Representative Julie Johnson on the Live Well Texas bill with Sick of It Texas and Texas Organizing Project to help bring Medicaid expansion that we desperately need here in the state of Texas. As well as obviously being a woman and having my reproductive rights taken away from me, and therefore wanting to lead a statewide women's caucus of trial women to go and advocate, put on a Texas Ledge Academy, educate them about the process in the Texas legislature, and then put on a lobby day to go and fight for our issues. Not just for obviously ourselves, but for the whole community of all of the individuals who have had their reproductive rights taken away from them. And of course, we know this next session, there's going to be more attempts to further that. We already see what Kim Paxton is doing as far as requesting the medical records for women who are availing themselves of legal abortion outside of the state of Texas, and seeing municipalities all over the state of Texas contemplating not allowing women to be able to go and drive through their areas to get to other states where abortion is legal. And so we know that there is going to be a continued fight on making sure that we protect our rights, our abilities to make a decision of when we want to make a family, or if we even want to make a family, will be on the line. And then of course, public education. I'm a proud product of public education, so we got to continue to fight. I'm dropping right now into the chat of ways that you can help. So please, please, please come be part of our efforts. And thank you so much for having me on, for all of your support.
Hey, everybody. My job today is to introduce to you a phenomenal candidate that's running for the Texas House in District 94 against Tony Tinderholt. Tony Tinderholt is the Republican author of the bill that gives women the death penalty for seeking abortions. He is a monster, and we have a fantastic qualified candidate running, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to introduce her. I'm getting a note that I didn't tell you my name, and I should do that. So my name is Kendall Scudder. I'm the finance chairman of the Texas Democratic Party. Sorry. Denise, do we have a slide that has Denise's bio? There we go. Denise is a proud Texan mom raising 5 successful young adults with strong Texas values. One graduated from the United States Naval Academy and currently serves our country overseas as a naval aviator. She's an experienced attorney with over 30 years of legal experience, ensuring justice and fairness for everyone. She served 10 years as a criminal prosecutor and then as an assistant city attorney. A community leader, actively involved in local initiatives, she's always putting community first. She worked for several local nonprofits, helping them to achieve their fundraising goal. And I just think we would be so blessed to have somebody like Denise Wilkerson in the State House. So I'm going to hand it over to Denise. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Hi, y'all. I'm making sure my camera is on. And let's see, I'm in my car. There we go. Hi, we just finished block walking and I stopped for lunch and almost forgot about this. So oh, I see other people have been in their cars as well. I am very honored to be running for House District 94, which is Arlington, Hearst, Euless, Bedford, and a little bit of Fort Worth and Grand Prairie. It is a heavily gerrymandered district, but one that we believe that we're going to win. I had a poll that was percentage point of beating Tony 40 in his favor with 19% undecided. But let me tell you, I was block walking this morning and I am so encouraged. The majority of the people who were home were voting Democrat. Some of them said, I have typically voted Republican. I consider myself an independent, but this year I am voting Democrat all the way down the ballot. So that was great to hear. I got a lot of hugs this morning. So that, that's a great way to head into early voting. And let me tell you a little bit about my background, because anybody who sees criminal prosecutor on the background thinks of someone as being not that progressive. But I was very fortunate that I worked in a district attorney's office where the DA I worked for thought it was important that we see the prison conditions. He wanted us to understand where we were sending people when we sent them to prison. And that was eye-opening for me. It made me really think about the people that I was prosecuting, as well as the victims, the families of the people behind bars. And it showed that our Texas jail system is certainly something that needs improvement. It would be one of my priorities, as well as defending our public schools and getting local control back for our city governments. And of course, women's reproductive rights and expanding healthcare. I'm so happy to be able to talk to y'all today, this afternoon, but I am anxious to get home after several hours of block walking. Thank you. And let me tell you, you can help candidates all the way down the ballot.
You are muted, Latanya.
I'm sorry. Hello, guys. It's Latanya Whittington again. Free the weed in Texas. That's what I said. And we're going to H-Town. H-Town. My girl, Christina Morales. Woo! She's an awesome representative. I've known her for quite a while. I remember when she was first elected. And I went to Austin, of course, to advocate for cannabis. And I went to visit her. And she had such a sparkle in her eye. And she said that she would support me. So she always has. So, all right. At 23, after the death of her grandmother, Christina took over family run funeral home. Yes, she does. And her family was among the first to offer burial service to the Latino majority community. In 1997, she founded the annual Morales Back to School Supply Giveaway. And the line goes all the way around. Believe me, I went. And 21 years later, it continues to help over 20K students from Houston's most underprivileged communities with supplies packs for school. Now, in the spring of 2019, Christina would win election to the House in District 145. And Ms. Morales is now focused on creating and supporting legislations helping educate children, yay, their future, and protect the seniors, yes, that built our community. You have the floor.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, LaTanya. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there, I see me now. So thank you for that introduction. And yes, I have been giving out school supplies for many, many years in the community, and that has helped shape my priorities in the Texas House. I can see firsthand what the needs of our community are when it comes to public education. And our public education is on the line this next legislative session. We really need more seats to be flipped than ever. We need to flip the House because we have to protect our children. They're our greatest resource, the future of our state. And the governor is insistent on passing a voucher bill that would literally destroy our public schools. So that is going to be the #1 fight this coming legislative session. I am running unopposed this time, but I'm very, very happy to have the endorsement and excited to be the second most progressive legislator in the state house, the most progressive in Houston. And what does that mean? I never ran for office to become the most progressive legislator in Houston. It just putting people first has made that happen for me. And we will continue to support more candidates who truly put people over politics. When I first entered the legislature in 2019, we actually had some bipartisan legislation that was able to pass. Most notably was HB 3. It was the historic public education bill where we better funded our schools, but we haven't done anything since 2019. And I have seen MAGA Republicans taking over the Texas House. They are stifling any kind of progress in our state, and they vilify the most vulnerable communities, including LGBTQ communities, immigrant communities, women, children. It is horrific, and it is a very difficult place to work. I am grateful for you and all the work that you're doing to make sure that we elect more progressives and we flip seats so that we can fight and do what's right for all Texans. So thank you so much for allowing me to be on this call, and we'll see you soon. See you at the polls.
Thank you so much, Ms. Morales. It is now my pleasure and privilege to introduce a great friend of mine from El Paso. His name is Wesley Lawrence. He's running for El Paso City Council District 4. Next slide. He's born and raised in El Paso. He's an El Paso ambassador, member of the LGBTQIA+ community, having served on the board of the Borderland Rainbow from 2019 to December 2023. He's a precinct chair for precincts 195. He's an SD 29 committeeman with the Texas Democratic Party and a proud community advocate who ran for city council in District 4 during the 2020 election. He's currently enrolled at the El Paso Community College, pursuing an associate's in mass media communications, and he's definitely one of the people that I highly recommend that everybody follow because he has a really, really bright future. Without further ado, this is Wesley Lawrence.
Sounds good. And thank you, Julio, for that excellent introduction. It's good to be here this fine Saturday morning or afternoon, actually. We're out block walking, talking to union members about the change that we can see here in El Paso. You know, we're proud to have been endorsed not only by the Texas Progressive Caucus, but by the Stonewall Democrats of El Paso, the Central Labor Union, Texas AFL-CIO, and we've pledged to be the most pro-union city council representative ever to be elected here in El Paso, ensuring that our labor organizers have the first right of refusal to any city contracts, and ensuring that we do more to recruit members to AFSCME here in El Paso. You know, we're running on a platform that focuses on really uplifting our community, returning hope, integrity, progress, and community voices back to City Hall here in El Paso, where it has been gone for quite too far of a time. So we really just want to make sure that we're working with our seniors and our up and coming members of our community to really ensure that they can call El Paso home and, you know, really stay and invest in our community. We're proud to only be the only candidate that's focused on delivering property tax reform for our seniors, placing a cap on central appraisal district values in order to ensure that people are not getting taxed out of their homes. You know, I was talking to a senior who's just turned 89 a couple days ago, and she was stressed, rightfully so. You know, living here in El Paso, we have some of the highest property taxes in the entire nation, with very little to show from that. So I want to make sure that our community feels heard, that they feel like the taxes that they spend are being allocated correctly, and really just ensuring that, you know, no matter what people believe, where they come from, that they have a city council representative that will listen to them, will learn with them, and that will act upon the change that we need desperately here in our community. We're also the only candidate in this race who has pledged to donate parts of our salary back to the district in order to ensure that we're doing more for our community. You know, I believe in government that works with and for our people. I believe in a government that helps people transform their lives and lifts each other up from the bootstraps and really ensures that no one gets left behind. That's why we've also pledged to bring an office to our district where everyone can really make sure their voices are being heard, regardless of the issues that matter most to them, if it's streets, if it's pet animal safety, public safety, you know, if it's making sure that our government is just doing what it's supposed to be doing in the first place. They have a home in our office. And it's something that's been resonating highly with the people here in District 4 and El Paso as a whole, with many people saying, you know, we've lost faith in our city government, but with people like you, you know, you bring us faith back. So I just want to make sure people know that this November, we have a lot of work that we need to do, from the president's ticket all the way down to the bottom of the ballot. So thank you all for the work that y'all are doing, and thank you for your endorsement, and let's go win this November. You can learn more about me at my website at wesleyforelpaso.com, and I'll put some links in the chat. So thank you for having us.
Angel? Is Angel on?
She may not be on, so let me go ahead and
I'm sorry,
introduce-
are you, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
My name's Jennie McDavid, and I am out of Houston, Texas. I served on the platform committee and got to know Imad and some of the other progressive Democrats while at the state convention. I have the pleasure of introducing Suleman Lalani today. He was elected in 2022 to HD 76. It's a suburb of the Houston area, Sugarland, the Meadows Place, Richmond, Texas. Dr. Lalani is a physician, originally from Pakistan, immigrated in the 90s, and concentrates on healthcare. He's been a progressive for us in the legislature, supporting the human rights as well, an arms embargo as well as a ceasefire, gun reform, healthcare reform, and a whole host of other progressive issues. So we're very thankful to have him. He was elected in 2022 as one of only two Muslim Democrats in the state legislature, and we hope we'll be able to add to his ranks in the future. So thanks very much. And again, please welcome Dr. Suleman Lalani, HD 76 state legislator.
Yeah, Jenny, I'm not sure if Dr. Lalani is on or not. If he is not, can you read the slide and we'll go to the next speaker?
Sorry, I'm in a restaurant, so I'm trying to be cognizant of the noise. Dr. Lalani has seen firsthand how our healthcare system fails people. Because of this life experience, he focuses on healthcare and the economic impact of lacking healthcare. In his short tenure in the legislature, he's already passed 36 bills and added multiple key amendments. As a freshman, he was appointed to 3 committees: higher education, natural resources, resolutions, calendars. He's been able to deliver tangible legislative success on many of our legislative priorities regarding public education, healthcare, mental health, and technology. And education hits really close to home here in Harris County with the takeover by TEA of Houston ISD. So we appreciate all his efforts in the legislature on public ed as well.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
Mia? Is Mia? Yes. Mia, you're next.
Hi, you all. My name is Mia Diaz-Salomon, and I'm on the, it's just my absolute pleasure to serve on the TXPC Advisory Board. And I'm here to, although he may not be here, I'm here to introduce Detrick DeBurr, who we have endorsed, who is running for HD 65. He's a software engineer, father of 3, and grandfather of 3. Detrick served in North Texas over the past 23 years in various capacities. He previously chaired the Planning and Zoning Committee in Cedar Hill, Texas, and the Dallas Blueprint for Leadership program, and was on the board of St. Philip School and Community Center. Currently, he serves as a Planning and Zoning Commissioner in the Colony, Texas, a program that prepared minorities to serve on the nonprofit boards and committees throughout the Metroplex. And if you do live within HD 65, please feel free to actually go to our link, our website, to check out all of our endorsements and visit him and get more, do all your due diligence and all of your research on Mr. DeBurr.
Are you with me?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
There he
I sure
is.
am. Can you see me?
Awesome. Yes, I can. And
Hello,
welcome.
how are you? How are you? First of all, thank you guys so much for the support. Detrick DeBurr, Texas House District 65. It's been a very, very busy day today out here with heroes, cops, and kids, and we're out really trying to get the vote out. Hey, matter of fact, I brought a special friend with me here, a real hero, right? Now, with that said, Monday, October 21st, you can be the hero, okay? Get out and bank your vote. It's extremely important that we have massive turnout. One of my primary objectives is to ensure that we have fully funded public schools in the state of Texas. Greg Abbott and his friends have decided that they want to push this thing called vouchers. We've decided that that doesn't work for us. We want to ensure that every child has an opportunity to have a fully funded education. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Thank you so much. You can visit me at www.deburrfortexas.com. And thank you so much for your support. I look forward to meeting you guys down in Austin.
Thank you. Thank you, DeBurr. Thank you so much for being able to tune in. And it is my pleasure to once again introduce Lulu Flores, although I do perceive that she is not on this call. So, but nonetheless, let's give her flowers. Representative Flores is an attorney and public advocate with over 25 years of specific legislative experience as a state representative for District 51. She is a partner at Handler Flores Law, LLC. Lulu was previously the COS for state representative Angel for almost 8 years. While there, she helped us pass the first domestic violence legislation in Texas. And she also served as the director of legislative programs for the State Bar of Texas for almost 8 years, and then worked as an assistant director for alternative fuels policy and legislation / government affairs at the Texas Railroad Commission for over 10 years. So if you all live within HD 51, please feel free to visit her website. We do have her link in our endorsed page at txpc.org.
Thank you, Mia. Latanya?
Up next on deck, we have Jay Daggett, HD 25. Daggett was born in Houston, Texas. He called Texas home for most of his life. He and his wife, Katie, moved to Berlin 16 years ago. Because Jay has a heart for service, he's been committed to
Hello again.
And he loves
This
and
is
calls his home.
Tanya. Were y'all looking for me?
We are introducing Jay Daggett, Latanya, but we would love your, I know you've worked with Daggett, so if you want to give your experience with him. He calls Houston home and is a Houston tax increment reinvestment zone board, along with several other education, health, and child welfare boards. After serving in the Texas executive director as a Texas executive director of national nonprofit organizations fighting human trafficking, Jay decided to found his own nonprofit fighting for marginalized communities, not handouts. You can go to texasmpac.org. You can find all of these links, all of our endorsed candidates on our website, texasprogressivecaucus.org. We're excited to have these people and let you know about them as we move through the election cycle. Those links will also be posted in the chat.
Hello, hello. Oh, well, and thank you for that. I'm here. I'm on the call. So
good to see you, Jay. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. I had an early, my call time was about 20 minutes from now, but I'm glad that I could be able to be on. So forgive the attire. I'm at a fundraiser for children's charities in Brazoria County. And so I rode my motorcycle here and I'm dressed in motorcycle attire. But yes, my name is Jay Daggett. I am the Democratic candidate for House District 25. Pearland, Texas, just south of Houston, Brazoria County, a newly drawn district. This is an area that has been traditionally red with an unopposed incumbent the last time. So I'm honored to be not only endorsed by the Progressive Caucus, but I had the opportunity to meet with Clayton and a number of other progressive members in El Paso. We're doing everything we can to fund public education, restore women's rights, find an avenue for affordable health care, and hold government accountable. Those three things are on my website, jdaggett.org, my nonprofit for continuing to fight the marginalized communities and human trafficking. We're doing everything that we can in our county and in our community to make sure that Kamala Harris is not only elected, but that we continue to bring people together versus dividing our community and separating everyone and creating just incredible divisiveness. We have an opportunity. Your voice matters. Encourage one person to make sure that they go to the polls and vote early. We will double voter impact. I absolutely believe that. Encourage at least one person to go to vote early, and we will double our voter turnout. So I'm honored to represent. I look forward to seeing everyone on November the 6th as we do a celebratory lap around Texas. And I'll be in Austin for the inauguration of the office that I'm running for. And we will see everyone. I would love to see everyone on calls as we do this to thank everyone. But thank you so much for honoring me and allowing me to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you, Daggett, once again for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure. And as most of y'all know in the chat, Lulu's here. And again, it's my pleasure to introduce her. And Lulu, go ahead.
Oops, I'm sorry, my thing, there I am. My computer's doing a little weird stuff here. Hi, everyone, how are you? Literally just came off the trail for a quick moment to log on. I didn't have any Wi-Fi out there, so I had to jump off. So yes, I'm Lulu Flores. I represent House District 51 here in Southeast Travis County. It's East Austin, South Austin, and Southeast Travis County. I'm fortunately unopposed this time. So I am out door knocking for the ticket all the way from Kamala Harris down to our Propositions A for getting bonds for childcare. And I'm here just to encourage everyone. We've got 16 more days, at least the way I was counting today. And we really have to get out there and get out. I'm going out every weekend to canvass and knock on doors. It's the best way you can reach the voters and encourage them to get involved. Don't let them tell you they're not voting this time, because it doesn't matter. You've got to let them know that it does matter. I have been involved in 3 other races besides this one that I finally won last term, and 8 votes, 117 votes. You know, it's close. Every single vote counts. We have a representative who served here now, our dean, for 5 terms, and she won her first election by 4 votes, and then she had to go, you know, to the legislative process to confirm her election. So every single vote matters, and anything you can do, the energy you can get, you know, to advance our causes. I'm working hard for getting heat safety protections for our workers and making sure that, you know, women's rights are reinstated. And we want to make sure that our public schools are funded and none of this nonsense and scams about vouchers. We need to use our public dollars to fund our public schools. And so, you know, getting people like Kamala and Colin Allred, Ted Cruz out of the Senate for sure. You know, we just need to do it. And you all have your candidates there on your ballot. So make sure you get out there and do everything you can to help them get elected. So with that, I'll say thank you. And thanks for the opportunity to be with you today. Off to my next event.
Gracias, Ms. Flores. Con ganas, sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Sí se puede. Michael?
You are muted. There you go.
Hello, everyone. This is Michael Fladmark. I'm the county chair from Henderson County. That's Athens, Texas. Also former SD3 committeeman. I have the pleasure of introducing Tanya Lloyd, who's running for Congressional District 27. And that district reaches from Bastrop down to Victoria to the Gulf Coast, all the way down to Galveston. Tanya is a first grade teacher in public schools. She's a mom, a wife. She made the decision to run for this office because she could no longer stay silent on the things that matter, which is for most of us the same thing. She's strongly pro-choice. She will fight for abortion rights, reproductive health care, and access to birth control. And she wants to advocate for children and families in a much bigger way, much bigger than being a classroom teacher for the last 17 years. She's an advocate for rural health and for investing in our communities, and will make sure that no rural community, town or city, will be left behind. It's all yours, Tanya.
Hey, how are you? Hold on just a second. There's cash in my checkbook in the back. How much? Sorry. We're getting ready for a trunk or treat over at the IBEW. And my daughter's like, I need money to go buy candy with. Sorry. I'm sitting in my car. We were out canvassing in Oasis County this morning, which is the Corpus Christi area. And we had about 10 people canvassing for me this morning. Like the gentleman said, I am a wife, a mom, and a public school teacher. I am still currently teaching school. This is year 18 for me. Fortunately, this week before early voting, we had our fall break. So my husband and I have hit 5 different counties this week, canvassing and meeting with voters, and that's been a lot of fun. I decided to run when I saw that Michael Cloud was going to be running unopposed. And I decided I couldn't let someone that was 100% pro-life, no exceptions, be the only person on the ballot. And so the day before, so the December 10th, I filed to run, and December 11th, the last day, 4 more people jumped in the race. So we did both have primaries, but I was able to win the primary 13 out of 14 counties. My family and I have put 24,000 miles on my car since January 1. We have been in every single of the 14 counties, talking to people, you know, doing the things I've never run for office before. So this is all brand new to me. We've had some great people on our team helping us out, pointing me in the right direction. And yeah, I really want to be an advocate for people in this district, because I feel like we don't have anybody advocating for us right now. It's been a pleasure, let me tell you, on the road, talking to people, getting, you know, hearing the same things that are important to me are important to other people around the district. And people are ready for a change. They're excited that we're out there. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me and what we're doing today. My website is www.tanyafortx27.com .com. My social media is all at Tanya for TX27. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and TikTok. So I appreciate you guys having me today. Thank you so much.
Hey y'all, hope you can hear me. JCVD out here in Katy, Texas, celebrating Katy Pride with all these beautiful people. This next candidate, who I'm very honored to introduce, has been chasing democracy since he was 8 years old. He has been fighting for equality since high school. He believes in human rights and he fights for Texas. It is a great honor and privilege to introduce my brother and someone who I affectionately call Big Lincoln, Chase West.
Okay, so nope, how about a video? Okay, so before I get into the nitty gritty, thank you, JT. You can find me at www.westfortexas.com. That's WESTFORTX.com. I am known for my grimace, my resting bitch face, if you will, because honestly, if you've lived in Texas for the last 30 years as a Democrat, you're probably pissed off, and I am, because Governor Abbott is holding public school funds for ransom. We got to get rid of these top 3 goons that we have up there. And we got to get more blue dots in the legislature so that we can pass some common sense laws so that we can save our kids from getting hit by drivers trying to walk to school because we can't fund school buses. And we got to make sure that everyone has equal rights, not just equal rights to love who they want or to do what they want with their body. I'm talking about equal rights to go to whatever store they want to go to, equal rights to, you know, worship however they want to, and equal rights over their own damn bodies. And we also need to fix the damn grid. I talk a little rough, but I'm serious about it. And I got a weak candidate that I'm going against. Mike Schofield has done nothing for this district and plans to do nothing for this district. So we're taking him out this time. There is no losing. He's gone. So get out there and vote. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the endorsement.
Thank you so much, Chad. And that will be a historic RBF. We'll leave the meeting with that. I have the wonderful joy of introducing Dawn Richardson for Texas House District 54. She's an amazing candidate running in Killeen. She has a gerrymandered district because they know that Killeen is one of those cities that is absolutely blue, and they have to do everything in their power to stop progressives and Democrats across the state from voting. Dawn has deep connections with the Army and veteran community in Fort Cavazos, formerly Fort Hood. She is a retired educator with 39 years of service, the last 27 years being right here in Texas, with experience in both private and public schools. She has seen all sides of the Texas school system. It is because of her long commitment to public education and the successes that she has accomplished that Dawn is ready to get in the fight for public education in the Texas House. Dawn, you have the floor. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to hear from you.
Thank you so much. It's been a busy day, starting at 7 o'clock, doing a breast cancer walk in Killeen, and then on to being a judge of a barbecue contest with the Boys and Girls Club. And now I'm at the 4th annual Thomas Nipper Memorial Barbecue up here in Morgan's Point. So forgive me if I sound a little jet lagged. I'm a little walk lagged. Hi, I'm Jon Richardson. I'm running for House District 54, and I'm running against the incumbent who wrote the voucher bill and is strongly telling folks that it's going to be a good thing. We have over 75,000 students in Bell County and less than 3,000 in private schools. I'm not sure where he's getting his ideas that this is going to be a good thing. He's also one of the sponsors of the 6-week abortion ban. So this man is not good for our area. He does not represent us. He does not seem to care anything about the issues that we care for. Therefore, first up, primary, we must get me in there so that we can defeat this voucher bill. Let's get rid of the guy who wrote it. And that would be me, to help get rid of it. We don't need it. All it's going to do is weaken our public school system even further, and it's not going to produce the results that they claim it's going to produce. If you look at the other states that have it, there's no measurable difference between those students' achievement when they went from the public to the private sector, and over 70% of those anyway, those vouchers go to folks who are already in private school. So we need to defeat that. We need to come in here fighting for our rights. Women need the right over their bodies to make their own decisions. Only them, their God, and their doctors should be telling them what they need to do and what not to. So these are some of the priorities, along with healthcare, affordable healthcare, shoring up our veterans' benefits. Those of us who live in a veterans community will understand that. And so again, need your support. I want to thank you for the support and the endorsement. My campaign manager is putting all my information in the chat. So there are ways to get in touch with me. We're doing a major walk tomorrow with Stuart Whitlow. We're going to be walking up here in Bell County. So if any of you are around, please come on out and join us. All that information will be in the chat. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. We can do this. And as I tell everybody, I'm in this for we, not me, because we need to let Texas know that it's a new dawn.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, definitely we could do it. And next, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Stephanie Draper, who is running for Senate District 12. Stephanie was born in rich cultural tapestry of Louisiana, and she has lived in Texas for the last 20 years. She is a mom of 3 children, and she has a profound appreciation for family, faith, and freedom. With a career spanning over a quarter of a century in business management and a deep-seated knowledge of electoral process garnered over 10 years with the Denton County Elections Department, she is seeing the inner workings of democracy, running for state senate to champion the voices of ordinary Texans and to craft future that reflects our shared values. Senate District 12 is west side of Fort Worth and part of Parker County. And it was good to see you, Stephanie, a couple of days ago at the Colin or Red event. Stephanie, the floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Well, thank y'all for having me. I'm at the transportation event today, so they're having a forum there. And I just want to let you all know that State Senate District 12 needs your support. We have so many opportunities out there, and we want to make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to get out there to go vote. So I definitely would need your volunteer. I am for our public schools to be fully funded. We've had meetings on top of meetings talking about what can happen. And I want to let you know that we have so many teachers that have supported me and want to make sure that we get our schools funded. And that's what I stand for. And also we need to make sure that we do something about our women's health care. There's too many women that are being hurt or having to wait outside the hospital in order for them to get the care that they need. And that's something that has to stop. So the best way that we can fix that is we need to make a difference. Come Monday, we need to go ahead and vote early, vote blue all the way down ballot, and get these people out of office. It's time for a change in Austin. That starts with me and all the other wonderful candidates down ballot. Now, since I told you I'm here right now with the transportation group, they are having a concern about budgets being cut. We need our transportation, especially in these suburban areas and some of the main city areas. We need to have transportation here. In order for us to do that, we need to definitely make sure, once again, that we vote blue all the way down to get these people out of office, because we need transportation. Our cities are growing bigger every day, and we need to make sure that we have transportation out there for them, and that would actually help with our environment as well. So once again, go volunteer, help us out. We need boots on the ground. I'm getting ready to leave this event and get ready to go back out there and go canvas out there. So if you would like to join me tomorrow from 12 to 3, we'll be in Louisville. Hit me up at stephaniefordraper.com or draperfortexas.com and volunteer. And thank you for your time.
Hi, everyone. It's Michael Fladmark, County Chair, Henderson County, and I have the great pleasure of introducing you to Carolyn Salter, who's running for Texas House District 8. I got to know Carolyn back in when she ran for CD5 in 2020 and supported her in that campaign. And then we became committee man, committee woman for SD3 in 2022. And then she decided to jump back in to run for HD8. And Dr. Salter, she lives in Palestine, Anderson County, and she has a practice with her husband where she specializes in chronic pain management and responsible administration of narcotic prescriptions. She has been committed always to her community, and she was elected as the first woman mayor of Palestine from 2005 to 2009. So she brings a lot to the table for our rural communities in East Texas. So Carolyn, it's all yours.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate all your help. And let me just say thank you to the Progressive Caucus for your endorsement. And Kendall Scudder has been a benefactor. Michael and Jennifer Murphy-Vick have been super volunteers for my campaign. And I really can't thank them enough, because when you're in these rural districts that are gerrymandered to be 75 Republican and 25 Democrat in the polls, it's very difficult to move the needle. But if we could do that by being more active, then we not only can begin to turn the rural areas back to what they were 30 years ago, we could maybe win this election for Kamala Harris. And I'm actually very optimistic about that. So in my campaign, the whole reason I ran is because of school vouchers. Public schools underpin all the rural communities. They're an economic base. They're the beating heart of the community. They're the center for social activity, and they breed and train our leaders for tomorrow. And if we don't have good workforces, there's no reason for our kids to stay in our communities, and they'll eventually just all die out. So getting our public schools fully funded and our public teachers properly paid is actually critical to rural infrastructure in East Texas. It's also really important that we expand Medicaid to save rural hospitals. If they do not get funding for people who are not insured, and Texas is dead last in that category, then they will go out of business. And we've already had more rural closures than any other state since 2012. Then HB 2127 stripped local government, and my opponent, Cody Harris, authored that bill. So it stripped local government of a lot of power and the ability for local people to control their issues at the local level. And the last thing is, we've got to reverse the heartbeat bill, because what that does is strip women of their right to procure their futures, not only their personal futures, but their financial futures. People don't use it as birth control, and abortion is really not about being pro-life or anything like that. They're pro-embryo, but as soon as that person is delivered, they become disposable, and they don't support them in any way. It just drives me nuts when I hear them say that, because women are dying. The death rate for maternal mortality went up 56%, and since 2022. And that's really all I have to say about that. We need to expand veteran benefits. I'm also a cannabis prescriber. We need to decriminalize marijuana, and we need to expand the areas that we can prescribe medical marijuana for. I have a few patients on it, and it's really helped a lot. I mean, there are just so many things, but what I really was going to say before Jim Hightower said it is everything Jim Hightower said. So just go back, roll that back in your mind, and say all those things again. If we can get people out to vote, if we can convince them that we need to vote for the person and the policy over the party, and that this small government thing is just a ruse to take over all municipal functions that can make any kind of money and put that money in the pocket of the very rich people. That's what the Progressive Party is about. It's about making lives better. It's about expanding the social safety net and protecting consumers from predatory pricing. But we don't want to say that out loud, because then they would really, really come after us as progressives. But that's what the whole thing is about. It's about making sure that they control everything. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you for my website, Salter for Texas, FOR, Texas.com, and please visit my website, like my social media, and share it with your friends. Get out and vote. Let's turn everybody out we can, vote to the bottom of the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. And if you guys don't know Carolyn Salter, she is exactly the type of progressive we want to support. Truly the salt of the earth. Carolyn is a cannabis prescriber, y'all. She is the kind of Democrat we need to elect in East Texas and across the state. And up next, we have an amazing progressive running just north of Austin, Jennie Birkholtz, running for Texas House District 52. Her seat is just 4 points from turning. So she is one of those top-notch candidates that we need to focus on. Jennie has served more than 20 years in her community, shaping policy and creating innovative solutions in her community. She currently serves as the president of Access Education, where she has locally championed school board battles and continuously testifies at the Texas State Capitol to ensure that every child has the right to safe and high quality education. In 2021, Jennie's work with Juntos took her to Uvalde, where she listened to community members across their biggest challenges, mental health care, lack of economic opportunity, and low community connections. We are thankful Jennie's able to join us. I know she's been block walking all day today, so it's been a busy day, Jennie.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me. Block walking is my absolute favorite thing to do. That is how you get the trust of the community. And I don't, ever ask them to come to me. I always go to them. And that's what I say. You have to move at the speed of trust. And sometimes that trust comes slow, and sometimes that trust comes fast. And so I spend a lot of time in the community, a lot of time listening to people, and a lot of time knocking on doors. And I think that makes the greatest difference. And I think that is what's different about the progressives and about people. We know how to listen to people, and that's how we know what issues are actually important to them. And that's what makes us better leaders as well, because we can bring that to the table. So thank you for having me. I'm just really passionate about my community and about our people here. And that's why we've had so much success with this campaign, because the minute that I met my opponent was when I was poll greeting for school board members. And my opponent was poll greeting for her campaign. And I asked her questions, and she wouldn't answer my question. She said, "You'll find out when I'm elected and when I vote." And that wasn't good enough for me. I did not think that was good. So she was elected, and right then and there, I knew that I wanted to run against her because I felt that transparency wasn't fair. And so I spent, a lot of time knocking, being in her door in her office, trying to hold her accountable. And she did not vote the way that our district wanted, despite all of our advocacy. So I am all about our pro-public education, about our public schools, because we know that's what holds us together. They serve all of our kids, including, my kid who has special education needs, and I'm very passionate about that. And it's the largest employer in our communities. And so to not have an increase in the pay raises for our teachers is causing a lot of suffering in our community, and that will help certainly raise our economies for a lot of families if we get that through. So public education is, of course, number one when it comes to my platform, because of how many families that impacts in my particular district. And we're finding that is a nonpartisan issue that goes across people who identify as Republican, people who identify as Democrat, that goes across everybody. And we learned that in our school board elections, is that if you find shared values amongst the community, and then you tell them facts, what's happening, you give transparency around those shared values, then people get motivated about it, and they're ready to roll, and they're ready to take action. And so we learned that from our school board elections, and what we did, shined a light on the corruption, shined a light on the chaos, shined a light on what was happening, and then gave them a choice and said, this is what you can do. And so that's what we're offering in this race, is a choice. And they have a choice between chaos, and they have a choice between change and hope. Thank y'all for my time.
Thank you, Jennie. Latanya?
Okay, yes, thank you very much for coming. And I wanted to show you guys my daughter. Come on in here. That's Nyjah, and she's at her first year at Sam Houston University for anime. And tell them, this will be your first year, what?
This will be my first year voting.
Woo! All right. We got a first-time voter. And I made sure to make sure that she votes and register for democracy. Go, Nyjah. She's so sweet. All right. Well, I'm here to announce. Oh, I see the whole hearts. Let's see. Make sure it's Rayna Glasier. That's who I have. Rayna Glasier. All right, there we go. She's running for State Board of Education, District 11. Now, Rayna has been a teacher for 18 years and currently works at Crowley ISD. Prior to working in Crowley, she taught in Fort Worth ISD and Dunbar High School, where she serves as the math department chair. And at the district level, served as the superintendent advisory council. Wow. As a single mom who raised her own son while putting herself through college, earned her bachelor's and science degree in mathematics from Texas Women's University. In 22, Rayna completed her master's, come on now, of education and teachers leadership with the emphasis on curriculum and instruction at Lamar University. Woo, she's on fire. And she is currently working towards her principal certification through Lamar University. You have the floor, girl.
So Rayna is unable to join us because I guess she was block walking so much, she had a foot injury. So we are
Well,
just going
I
to be
just
going
gave the
on.
history about her so everyone knows.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you did great. So let's go ahead and I believe Michael Fladmark is doing the next introduction. So I'll pass the hat to Michael.
Hi, thank you. So I have the pleasure of introducing Tony Adams for House District 61. And Tony's not with us, but he represents a just. Oh, he is?
Yeah, I joined. Sorry, I'm late.
Okay.
Sorry to surprise you. I'm here,
Yeah,
guys.
no, that's great, fantastic. But let me introduce you anyway. He comes from a district that was totally redistricted. And what I mean by that is that it was on the west side of Denton, and now it's on the east side of Denton. And so, it's redistricting is an issue. And so one of the things we really have to do is make sure that we have the opportunity to make sure that we're protected in 2030 when we redistrict again. But anyway, Tony's been living in North Texas for over 30 years and is a dad whose daughter is currently attending college in Michigan. He attended the University of North Texas in Denton, obtaining an MBA in 1998. A large portion of his career, over 25 years, was in corporate America, building businesses, great leaders, and great teams while creating good jobs. He has a wide breadth of expertise in technology, banking, mortgage and finance, auto and home insurance, manufacturing, and healthcare industries. So he brings a lot to the table. I turn it over to you, Tony.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that kind introduction. I absolutely appreciate it. It makes me humble. I was doing some block walking earlier, so I thought I would make it.
And Tony has some.
Passionate leaders. If you're not able to hear me, let me know. I heard someone talk. And if you're talking, go ahead and mute yourself if you were not supposed to talk. So, but thank you guys. So I am running for Texas House District 61 from Collin County, Texas. This county is the Paxton County. Paxtons are here. Ken Paxton and Angela Paxton, they're all here. My opponent is close to the Paxtons. I'm working hard too, actually, because we are grassroots. We are we believe in public education. We believe in working class families. We believe in middle class prosperity for all. We believe in small business being successful, right? It's just not what Abbott has been doing, bringing big businesses in Texas and creating big business jobs, but small businesses are really struggling. So I have been talking with a lot of people within the House District 61 in Collin County, and in general, people are agreeing that small businesses struggling, they need more help. So that's some of the things that we collectively have to focus on making sure. Last time I checked, 1 out of 2 small businesses fail in Texas within the first 5 years. So we have to do better for small businesses. I am a small business owner, so I know the challenges, right? So that's one thing we gotta focus. I know some of you have talked about, and rightly so, about the women's rights, reproductive rights, 100%. I don't need to go back 100%. That's going to be our priority. We will work together when we win, if we win, we will go to Austin and we will make that a priority issue for our, the women of Texas, right? So that's very critical. And then comes children, right? Someone said that, you know, you get to know a civilization, how they take care of their women and children, right? So we have to take care of our women. We have to take care of our children. Education is going to be a priority. So we're going to focus on that. And then cost of living, right? Number one is, you know, mortgage, owning and purchasing a home. I know Ms. Kamala Harris, she is making those priority. Childcare, home ownership, you know, $25,000 first time home buyers. And then on top of it, I think we are on the right track, right? We are $35 insulin, $35 inhaler, $2,000 yearly cap for senior citizens. So we have to build on it. By the way, November 1st is when affordable healthcare enrollment season coming. Last year, when I checked, 3.5 million, record number of Texans signed up for Obamacare, right? And you guys probably know that ex-president Mr. Trump, he tried to kill that many times. You know, J.D. Vance lied about it. He did not do anything to protect it. He wanted to kill it. But we will make sure that Texans continue to enroll in that program. I personally am using affordable affordable healthcare, the Obamacare. So I really love it. So there are a lot of work that we need to do to build the trust of Texans, and at the same time, there's quite a bit of misinformation that goes on. We have to continue to fight it. So I think there's a time check going on. If I went over, I apologize, but thank you guys. I absolutely loving the conversation. Appreciate being part of this group. Appreciate Texas Progressive invited me and endorsed me. So I'm humbled, and I would like to continue to support the principles and causes of Texas Progressive. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tony. Collin County is a very difficult place to organize in, but it is one of the targets of TDP and the state of Texas to flip blue. They are doing everything they can, everything in their power to stop Collin County from flipping. And we know we already have a win with HD 70. We hope that those wins continue through that. And speaking of difficult places to organize in, a place I'm very familiar with, Miss Rhetta Bowers is running in Texas House District 113. That's just outside of Mesquite, part of Rowlett and Rockwall, my old stomping ground. So I know exactly how difficult that area was to flip and turn blue. Rhetta has done amazing work organizing. She is the first African American to represent HD 113 in that district, and that district was flipped from red to blue in 2018. You guys are seeing history making right now in Texas, and Rhetta is part of that. She has been a strong advocate for men, women, and children in her district and around the state when it comes to education, healthcare, civil rights, and equality. She was the primary author of HB 567, the Crown Act, and HB 3435, which created Texas Girls in STEM Day. Rhetta, we're so happy to have you here on the Progressive Caucus GOTV meeting. You have the floor.
Thank you. If you all will bear with me, I'm going to pull over. I am out on the campaign trail, as a lot of us are today. I want to say thank you to the Texas Progressive Caucus for your endorsement and your support. I'm going to pull over because I launched a block walk today, this morning, and then I had a speaking engagement. So thank you all for all that you do and for being advocates for the progressive work that we all get to do across this state. Ahmad, thank you very much for reaching out to me. It's good to see you. But Christy, as you said, thank you for that introduction. And I do want to say that we, as you said, flipped the district in 2018, and it is because of supporters like yourself. We couldn't have done that without you all. And I want to say this, it took 2 cycles to make that happen. So my husband reminded me that I really had been at this work in House District 113 for a decade. So I was knocking for other candidates before I became a candidate and an elected official. As we sit here in a very gerrymandered district today, you know, some would see it because it's now 59% Democrat, so they would see it as safe. But I want to talk about the unexpected challenge that presents. You know, when you look at a district that was a swing district, it was certainly when I got it in 2018 when we were victorious, it was very checkered. It was not blue completely. There were blue parts, but we prevailed because we had the support of many on both sides of the aisle. And I want to say that the challenge that it presented for us this time around in this election cycle is that the district looks safer. People thought, well, she's in good shape. So that it felt like they just said, hey, we don't need to get out and do anything. But as we know, 17 days away from this election, and we are approaching early voting on Monday, we know that there are still doors to be knocked, there are still dials to be made, and we have to have poll greeters as well. So we've got to be everywhere, if you will. We've got to be knocking those doors, calling people, texting people, and as well at the polls, because I do have a Republican opponent. But one thing that our VP, soon to be President Kamala Harris, says is that we are not going back, and we are not going back in 113 either. So we are going to make sure that that the district remains blue, and that we come out victoriously in this election. I want to say, you know, thank you again to the Texas Progressive Caucus for your strong, solid, sound endorsement. And thank you for mentioning the Crown Act. I see my colleague and joint author, Chairman Ron Reynolds, on here as well. And, you know, we fought hard, and we're going to have to go back to protect the Crown Act. I have to say that because 51 independent school districts across this state are non-compliant. So it's so good to be on here with you all. My staff and team members are on, and they have shared our link. I would ask you to follow me. Make sure you help us spread the word. We do need people to get out and vote so that we make sure that House District 113 remains blue. And please, you can also support financially. If you can't get out there, it will help us reach that many more voters at rhettabowers.com, and certainly Rhetta for HD 113 and Bowers for Texas on X and Twitter. Thank y'all so much for giving me an opportunity to share and a chance to come on with you all. If I sound fired up, it's because I am, and I am out here on these in the district right now, talking to voters and talking to youth that are certainly going to be helpful in making sure that we have Vice President Harris as our next president. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, I'm LaTanya Whittington, Free the Weed in Texas. And you talk about getting fired up. Well, I am fired up. I have the honor to present my friend, Representative Ron Reynolds. You are amazing. Even though you're from another city, you're still Houston. We love you, Houston. We're going to take you. We own you, okay? You are Houston. Every event, you're always there and you support us. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Well, let's read a little bit something about you, Mr. Ron Reynolds. He has a big survey here. Resume. Now, Representative Reynolds was sworn in on January the 10th, 2011, as State Representative of House District 27. Ron is currently serving his 7th term in the House. Prior to being elected representative, Reynolds was an associate municipal judge of the city of Houston, past president of the Houston Lawyers Association, and past president of the Missouri City and the vicinity NAACP. Now, state representative reps for HD 27. He holds the distinction of being the first Black state representative in Fort Bend County since the era of Reconstruction. Ron Reynolds is committed to public service. He is, and extends far beyond his district, as evident from his position as chair of the Texas Legislation Black Caucus and vice chair now of the Texas Energy and Climate Caucus, and the former chair of the Texas House Progressive Caucus. And I was so excited when he did that. And I just want to share a little small story. I'll make it quick. I started advocating for cannabis in 2017. And in my investigation and finding out stuff, I found out Reynolds wrote several cannabis reform bills. And I'm sure way before when I started advocating. And I just want to tell you that I appreciate your work that you do in Austin to make sure that our voices are heard, that cannabis helps us. It's not a drug, it's not a narcotic, it is medicine. And it needs to be taken off of Schedule 1 to 3 so that we can have access to it. Wow, it seems like it's going to be a long time before Texas do it. But representatives on our side, like Ron Reynolds, it can be done and it will be done. And Ron, I'll be down there in Austin to see you, knocking on your door, saying free the weed in Texas, okay? Now I present you Representative Ron Reynolds, HD 27. Let's go.
Woo! Wow, you all, thank you, LaTanya, for that amazing introduction. I have to take you on the road with me. I need that energy every time I speak, okay? I want to thank my colleague, Representative Rhetta Bowers, for her outstanding leadership in the Texas House. She has been one of the most fierce members of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus and one of the strongest, most progressive members in the Texas House. I would be remiss if I didn't quickly just thank Clayton for his amazing leadership of the Texas Progressive Caucus. Clayton, thank you so much. And everyone, all of the board members, all of the members, period. I am unapologetically progressive. I'm proud of my progressive record in the House. One of the most progressive members in the Texas House, top 5 every year based on my record. But let me tell you quickly, there's so much at stake right now during these last 18 days and counting. The stakes couldn't be higher. Do we go forward to fight for people who believe in a woman's right to choose, people who believe in freeing the weed, people who believe in criminal justice reforms, Medicaid expansion, people who believe that climate change is real and believe in science? Or do we go backwards and continue to support the failed leaders in this state that have ended diversity, equity, and inclusion, that has assaulted women's reproductive rights, that has assaulted our LGBTQIA, African Americans, minorities, Muslims, you name it? I am not going backwards. It is time for us to roll up our sleeves, to fight, to make good trouble, to do everything we can to elect Kamala Harris as our next president. And we don't just stop there, because we have to send Cancun crews packing. Let him go take his butt back to Cancun. Let's elect Colin Allred. And then we can't stop there at U.S. Senate, right? We have to vote down ballot. I mean, whether it's state representative, state senator, constable, justice of the peace, it may be in your city council member, your school board members. Vote down ballot. Elections matter. And I don't know about you, but I'm fired up, y'all. I'm fired up and I'm ready to fight. Not by hurting someone, but fight by knocking on more doors, making more phone calls, going a little deeper in my pocket to make another donation, doing whatever it takes, because the stakes couldn't be higher. There are many people who want to take us back. They're afraid of our diversity. I got news for them. Our diversity is our strength, and we ain't going back, not on our watch. So join us. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. That's why you're on this Zoom right now, because you believe in democracy. And so let's do everything we can for the next 18 days. Let's work from sunup to sundown. Let's sacrifice. Let's leave everything on the field. You know, even David was able to defeat Goliath. And I know the polls are saying that we can't win Texas, but guess what? We can do everything that we put our efforts in doing. I'm a man of faith, and I believe that faith without works is dead. So let's get to work. Let's get to work, and let's do everything we can to defy the odds. We can defy the odds. Let me tell y'all something quickly. The United States Senate may come down to whether Texas goes blue or not. It is unlikely, but it's still possible that we will hold on to Montana. So the U.S. Senate, they need Texas to win. Texas has the best shot at maintaining the Senate. I believe we're going to have a first African-American U.S. Speaker in Hakeem Jeffries. I believe we're going to have Kamala Harris and Coach Walz leading our country, but we would not be able to have a blue trifecta to get federal voting rights legislation passed if we can't maintain the Senate. So let's do our job, everyone. The eyes of the nation are going to be on Texas, and I'm going to do everything I can to continue working with you. God bless you. God keep you. Let's go. Fired up, ready to go. When we fight, we win.
Thank you so much, Representative Reynolds, for your strong advocating words. Honestly, with Representative Reynolds' words, we know that all of our down ballot candidates have that fighting chance because of his leadership, because he shows up, and because he's there alongside all of our other down ballot candidates making this happen. I have the distinct pleasure of forgot to introduce myself. I'm Nicolette again. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing y'all to someone who I actually met when we were all out in El Paso making good trouble. I have the honor to introduce y'all to Desiree Venable. She is running as a 20-year-old progressive young Dem and activist originally from a small town in Missouri. She comes from a union family in both the ironworking and railroad industry and moved to Bastrop about 6 years ago with her partner and is a small business owner there. She spends a lot of time volunteering and really getting involved locally. But you want to know what really got her fired up to run? It's the blasted Texas heartbeat bill that no one wanted. Everybody was just so frustrated about. And the fact that no one was running against Stan Gurgis. I don't even know if I said his name right. I'm sorry, maybe not. But with that thought, she thought, if not me, then who? And I'm so glad that she's here putting her hat in the ring to fight for working families in HD 17. Desiree, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, I'm in the car. We were pounding the pavement today, as we do every single day out here. I've been putting 16-hour days, and I am happy to do so. As she said, I'm Desiree Venable. I'm running for state house out here in District 17, so I am just outside the Austin area. I live in Bastrop. I have 5 counties surrounding my area. Just this morning, we had a big, what I call big, rally out here in Bastrop. We had about 30 volunteers show up that then left to either hit the pavement or they stuck around and phone banked and wrote postcards while they were taking phone calls on the dialer. So we are genuinely out here being as efficient and effective as possible. We, like I said, have been putting in 16-hour days. We are actually reaching across the aisle like mad out here in my district, earning Republican support because they are disgusted with the extremism of, as Nicolette said, the heartbeat bill. But also we've been talking to them a lot about the vouchers. The school vouchers is one of the biggest discussion points around my campaign, and how it is going to decimate our public education funding, how it's going to increase our property taxes, especially out here in the rural area. So we have been picking up crazy support. I actually just made a TikTok last night. If you want to go check me out on there, do it. I have signs in yards with Trump and Ted Cruz signs, and my signs say Democrat right on them, big and bold. So we have people who are willing to listen and work together to cross party lines for the sake of their public education. So just letting you guys know that that's an example of how we've been honestly trying to reach across the aisle and put the work in out here. As she mentioned, my opponent is Stan Gerdes. He is a right-wing extremist. He is supportive of the Heartbeat Act. He is anti-public education. Obviously, he actually said he would not be voting for vouchers, and then got in office, took a donation, and flipped his vote, as that typically goes. So yeah, he's not popular, and I wanted to bring him up to give you guys a sense of hope for my district specifically. In the last 6 months of last election cycle, this man had 18 in-district donors. 18 as an incumbent in a red district with the governor's endorsement. That's all the support he has. And to put that in perspective, I've had over 1,000 unique individual donors in this year, this election cycle, and I do not have a political background. I came out of nowhere. I was simply a volunteer and an activist that had no Rolodex behind me. So again, my people are willing to listen and work together and organize out here. They just needed someone to actually give them that opportunity and give them the time of day. So we've been pushing like crazy. And I want to say this too. I don't consider myself an optimist, but I genuinely think Texas will be blue this election cycle. And I do think Kamala Harris will be our next president and our first female president elected. If you guys didn't know, the trend in Texas was like 16% difference 3 cycles ago, and 9% last cycle, and 5% the cycle before, or the very last cycle. So yeah, we're right there, guys. We just got to keep pushing. Of course, as you guys know, I'm endorsed by the Texas Progressive Caucus. I am extremely proud of that fact. It is on all my literature. And I just want you guys to know that I am not in this race for any type of job opportunity. I do not plan on making friends, and I want to follow suit with what the Republican or the representative before me said. I plan on making trouble. And I not jokingly, say that all the time when I'm knocking doors, that I'm going to get in there and cause problems for the people at the top, not the people down here in our rural areas. So that's kind of a baseline about me. And I hope that gives you guys the general sense and vibe about what I'm here for and what I'm here to do. And I'm more than happy to keep working for y'all. I do plan on running again, regardless to how this race goes, but I think there's actually a shot at flipping this cycle. So just, if you could, keep your eyes on District 17 and let me show you what we could do when we organize and work together. Thank you, guys.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being with us today, Desiree, and thank you for running, because we understand that when you run everywhere, we uplift the tides. And so my name is Jen Ramos. I use she, her, AL pronouns, and I have the honor and distinction of being the State Democratic Executive Committee member for Congressional District 35. And it is my great joy and pleasure to introduce a hellraiser, hitting the ground running for a long time coming, who is going to rattle the cages and shake things up in the Texas legislature. Lauren Ashley Simmons first made notoriety when she was advocating for public education in Houston. As a union organizer, she has spent her time organizing for Black low-income women and Black migrant women to get fair wages and benefits. As a labor organizer, she has been the first person to speak for our marginalized communities. She is a fierce advocate for Texas state employees and is a proud CWA member and shop steward who's running to reclaim our seat at the table in state government by fighting against abortion bans, censoring the teaching of Black history in our schools, fighting against banned books in school libraries, and more. Most recently, she has flipped a seat that is now being held by a Republican in sheep's clothing, and is going to make a difference. And so it is my great pleasure to introduce my friend and my shiro, Lauren Ashley Simmons.
Thank you so much, Jen, for that wonderful introduction. I was like, who is the person she's talking about? She's talking about me. I want to say hello, happy Saturday to our Progressive Caucus. It is an honor truly to be endorsed by an amazing group of Democrats whose values align with mine. My name is Lauren Ashley Simmons. I am the Dem nominee for state representative in House District 146. And y'all, we did something amazing. We did something crazy. We, and I say we because it was people on this call who didn't even live in 146, who were making calls and talking to folks about, you know, getting this seat back. And we beat an incumbent that had been in office since 2017, somebody whose values no longer align with our district. And I think we didn't just win this seat, and we didn't just reclaim this seat, but we sent a message, not just to Democrats in Harris County, but to Democrats across this state, that you have to align with the values of your district, and you cannot abandon us when you get in the state house and make decisions that go against our communities and that actually put our communities in harm's way. It's a little bit easier on this side of the primary. So what I'm focusing on is absolutely winning my race. I do have a Republican opponent on paper, but we also want to make sure that we are getting good Democrats elected up and down the ballot. I'm so excited to share space, and I'm so excited to be on the ballot with VP Kamala Harris, but I'm also excited to be on the ballot with Sean Tier, who's going to be the next Harris County DA. I'm also excited to be on the ballot with people like Annette Ramirez, who's going to be our next tax assessor in Harris County, and Lillian Alexander and Ashley and Stacey, and so many of those amazing Black women judicial candidates who are going to hold the line and keep us safe. Y'all, we have so many opportunities in this state right now to put good Democrats, good progressive Democrats in office, and I'm excited to help do that in any way that I can. I see my future colleagues on this call, my chairman, Ron Reynolds, who I absolutely love and adore, my soror, Rhetta Bowers, and I am so excited about the opportunity to join them in January and hold the line and push back on some of this extremism that we have seen in our state. Texas is not a red state. We are a voter suppressed state. We are a blue state, and we are going to shift the tide, and we are going to protect our communities, and we are going to put Democrats in office up and down the ballot. Thank y'all so much for all of your support, your love, your prayers, your generosity. And I am so excited to be the next state representative in House District 146. Thank y'all so much.
Nicolette? Is Nicolette still on?
May not be on. So, hello everyone. My name is Trish Contreras. I'm the Secretary of Texas Progressive Caucus. So it is my pleasure to introduce Salman
Bhojani.
Bhojani. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay.
Salman was is it useless city council? Useless?
Yeah, a lot of people say that it's useless, but it is ULIS.
Euless City Council member. Sorry about that. After he won his election in May 2018 by 37 votes and became the first minority to become a council member in Euless. In January 2023, Representative Bhojani was sworn in as one of the first Muslims and first South Asians to serve in Texas legislature, representing House District 92. He has a law degree from SMU and comparative law diploma from Oxford University, and eventually founded his own law firm, Bhojani Law PLC. In his first term in the Texas House, Salman has fought hard for economic relief for everyday citizens and healthcare expansion, protecting public education, fighting against inhumane immigration laws, and respecting religious freedoms and diversity within Texas. Thank you so much. And you're on the floor. Thank you, Salman.
Thank you so much, Trish, and thank you for all the board members of the Texas Progressive Caucus. My name is Salman Bhojani, and I'm really honored to serve in the Texas House of Representatives in Euless, but also in Bedford-Hurst, Grand Prairie, Arlington, and a little part of Fort Worth. It's been an honor to serve you all as well at the Texas Capitol. I started off as, when I came to the country, mopping floors, cleaning restrooms, and stocking shelves for just $6 an hour. But then I quickly worked hard to start a business. I became a business owner, had few of my own stores, and then went to law school at SMU, and then became an attorney, and then started my own practice in 2015. But I did not get politically active until we elected a former president. So I'm sort of, it's sort of deja vu right now, right? I feel like I'm in the same boat where I was in 2016, where we were looking towards that election, and lo and behold, he won. And he created, the first thing that he did was institute a Muslim ban from 7 Muslim countries. And as an attorney at that time, as an American, I felt disgusted at how someone could take away our constitutional right of freedom of religion. And so I was appalled by that, and I felt like Muslims didn't have a seat at the table. They've been on the menu for far too long. And so that's when I ran for my Euless City Council and lost by a couple of hundred votes. And Imad is on the call here today. Imad is a Euless resident and has been always an all-time supporter from day one, from the 2017 campaign. But I lost that campaign by a few hundred votes. It was really, really sad at that time. But then in 2018, I ran again and again made history by being the first minority ever elected in the history of the city of Euless. And I was really honored to do that by only 37 votes. 37 votes, and Imad was one of them. Thank you, Imad, for coming out, and thank you again for always supporting me. And there are a lot of people in Euless that that remember that election, because the state representative that held District 92 at that time, a lot of people know his name, Jonathan Stickland. And as I knocked on the door, like, he was actually against me for that election, and he was intermeddling in a city council election, sitting at the Texas Capitol, in exactly the same spot that I'm in today. So it's sort of karma, or it's sort of how its destiny is, right? That I'm sitting in the same place where he sat and attacked me for being a Muslim or for being a Democrat. But again, I'm really honored. But again, change happens with only 37 votes. So I want to tell everybody that's on the call here today that's listening, your vote matters, right? Go out and vote, because even if and you can just multiply your votes by taking family members and your neighbors, and this is going to be so important in Texas, because people say, oh, Texas is red and it's purple, all that. I feel it's Texas a non-voting state. I think if minority communities come out to vote, we are going to be blue like anybody's business, and we will not just be a battleground state, we'll just flip into blue immediately. But people need to come out, and so that's what I speak to South Asian communities all the time. Like I said, I think my introduction said, in 2022, I became the first Muslim and the first South Asian ever elected in the history of the state of Texas. And thanks to the people that are on this call as well, that made me elected in my primary and again in the general election in 2022. And I swore on the historic Quran. I see that's the sort of the perspective that I brought as well, as 200-year-old Quran. That was the first time ever in the history of the state of Texas that somebody swore on a Quran. And I brought that Quran to the chapel at the Capitol. And then I also brought the Jewish Torah at the chapel as well, because we want to fight for all the communities. And so I'm here to serve y'all. Just please reach out to me. I've realized that there's a lot of pockets of communities that are not connected to their government. And my job as a state representative is always, like yesterday, I went to meet with the Filipino American community. And I told them, hey, I'm here to serve you. Even though you don't live in my district, to me, it doesn't matter, right? The laws that we pass are for the entire state of Texas. I also met the Sudanese American community. They are so devastated right now with so many mass innocent lives being lost in Sudan. And a lot of people don't even know about that, right? It's same thing in Gaza and same thing in West Bank. There's a lot going on all around the world, and we need to be compassionate. We need to have a leader that's compassionate. And that's why I say Kamala Harris is the person that is already compassionate and will continue to advocate for Muslims, for minorities, for everybody. She's a leader for all, right? So I know when sometimes people look at her and say, oh, she didn't say this, she didn't say that. She's saying everything for everybody because it's so important that she resonates with the people as well. But again, let's come out and vote in large numbers. We need the votes in Texas, especially. I think last time Beto lost by only a few 100,000 votes. And I felt like just the South Asian community could have just tipped him over the winning scale. And so let's vote for Colin Allred and send Ted Cruz back, send him to vacation in Cancun forever, right? So he doesn't have to worry about going only in a storm or whatnot. But I'm here to serve y'all. Please reach out to me anytime I can do anything to help y'all in the communities. The Progressive Caucus does an amazing job. Thank you all, Imad, Clayton, all the members here that are on the board. I really appreciate it. I'm really truly honored to be endorsed by y'all, right? That's why I'm making time to be here as well. It's so important to be here. And with that, I'll end my this speech. But if there's anything I can do, I'm going to type my cell phone number and my email address. Please reach out to me. Thank you so much. Let's win this time around. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Bhojani. Representative Bhojani from House District 92. I live in House District 94, which our candidate spoke earlier, Denise Wilkerson. And it is my pleasure to introduce our next state representative. By the way, 3 of them are in the same area, very close. 92 here in Euless, 94 in Bedford, and a small part of Euless, and House District 105 in Irving, which is right next to 92. And before Representative Bhojani was elected, we always had Representative Terry Meza come and speak at our events, and I have always called her, I don't live in your district, but you are my representative. So Representative Terry Meza ran the first time in 2014 and made it into a runoff. And she lost. And then she ran again in 2016 and made it into the runoff, but lost by 63 votes. In 2018, there was a rematch, and this time she won, and she unseated the Republican incumbent by 4,255 votes. HD 105 is considered very gerrymandered, and I guess that is typical in Texas. It was unconstitutionally drawn by a 3-judge panel in San Antonio, but not ordered to be redrawn by the Fifth Circuit of Appeals. It is a very diverse district with a majority minority population. House District 105 has the most diverse zip code in the country. Rep. Meza House Committee service includes human services, agriculture, public education, energy regulation, and international relations and economic development. Please welcome State Representative Terry Meza. Thank you.
I know Representative Meza is on the line. We'll give her just a few minutes to see if we can get her going.
Are we there? What else do I need to tap on?
Yep, there you are. You have the
Okay.
floor, Representative.
Well, great. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who stayed on the Zoom all this time as you wait to hear from all these great candidates. Served with most of the ones that you've already heard from before. And I don't see my photo. Is it coming up or just the resume thing there?
You just click on the bottom on the left on video.
I don't have that on the phone.
Okay.
Well, let me see. Let me go back. Nope. I'm losing all of it. Let's see here on the left. I don't see anything that like I usually see on the computer to bring it up. So sorry about that.
No problem.
But you can hear me.
Yes, we know you're doing a lot of block walking all over the district, so that is fine.
Yes, been block walking today. I didn't headed out to the block walk and I gave them a pep talk before they go out, and I'm going to give you a similar pep talk to what I gave to them, and that was that yes, it's important that we vote. You hear over and over again from all of us about how we're not a red state, we're a non-voting state. In my district, Republicans have been winning this seat for decades, so it was just considered unwinnable by Democrats until I found out that we outnumbered them in registered voters. Not only did we outnumber them, but we outnumbered them 2-to-1. There were 10,000 Republican registered voters and 20,000 Democrats. So we say, if we outnumber them 2-to-1, why do they keep winning? Well, you know the answer, because we weren't voting. People thought it wasn't winnable, so they just didn't think their vote counted. They didn't think their vote mattered. As we say in Spanish, es la misma gata. It's all the same thing. It didn't make any difference if they voted or not. So my task was to convince people that their vote did count, that their vote was important. And I think that's your task this time, and everybody who's out there working and block walking, is to convince people that their vote is important, that their vote does make a difference. when I came up short the 64 votes and the second time when we had a recount, when we were studying that race, we had 1,500 undercount or undervotes. In other words, people that walked in, voted for president, and walked out. And I'm worried that that's going to happen this time because we have a lot of people who are really excited about the presidential race. And so they're going to turn out, but they may not know anything about the down ballot races. So they'll go in and maybe vote for president and then walk out. So I want all of us to work to convince people that they need to vote on down the ballot. Don't stop at the top, vote all the way down from the White House to the State House in my case. The other thing that I want to emphasize about, oh, time up? Is that what that means? Is that we, excuse me, that kind of threw me. That people think that their vote didn't count and it did. So let's convince them of that and let's get out the vote and have them vote all the way down the ballot. So those are those two most important things that I wanted to say today. Forgive me, I would like to speak even more enthusiastically than I'm really making an effort to right now, but at the block walk this morning, I found out that my oldest brother had passed away. So I told him, Ma, that I was debating whether or not to participate this afternoon because I knew I couldn't speak as enthusiastically and fire you up the way that I wanted to because I was sad, but it was just too important. And so you'll forgive me, but I did want to be with you. So thank you.
Our deepest condolences, señora Representative Meza. We appreciate. Muchísimas gracias por juntar con nosotros. Our prayers are out there for you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative, for taking the time to be with us. We really appreciate it. Our condolences to you and to the family. Thank you again.
Thank you.
So once again, guys.
Okie dokie. So I have the honor of introducing our next speaker, Senator Sarah Eckhardt. She is a senator from Austin and has been a true trailblazer on both building the party and putting up a good fight in a very, very rough area in the Texas Senate. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and pass it over to my friend, Senator Eckhardt.
Thanks so much, Clayton. First of all, I want to show y'all a t-shirt from 2016 from the Bastrop County Democrats. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's a good t-shirt. Still holds true today. I just came from a phone bank at AFL-CIO, and I would encourage everybody go to bit.ly/Texas calls. And it gives you an opportunity to phone bank into all of the swing states. It's super easy. You can get a bunch of friends together around your kitchen table and do it. So let me repeat that, and I'll put it in the chat too. It's bit.ly/Texas calls. And you can go right on there and it plugs you straight into a phone script and sends you to all of the swing states to make those phone calls. It's a great way to get involved and to feel like we're truly engaged and in every way that we possibly can be. I'm a Texas state senator, so I have a front row seat to a growing white Christian nationalist movement that has taken over the Republican Party and taken over our state house. In this next legislative session, we're going to see a continuing war that's actually not between Republicans and Democrats, it's between Republicans and Republicans. And the authoritarian movement that is in full control of the Senate will be attempting to also take full control of the House. So I deeply appreciate all of my good progressive friends. We've got a lot of work to do, but we're doing it together and we're going to be happy warriors. One of my major objectives in the Texas Senate is to restore full bodily autonomy. What is freedom if you don't have freedom over your own body? I know I'm speaking to the choir. I know that you all know this, but we have one of the most restrictive abortion laws in the entire United States. We've seen maternal mortality increase among every demographic, white, Black, Latina. This policy is actually a deadly policy. So we've got to roll that back. So I will be working on bills to to roll back the abortion ban, to increase access to reproductive health care in every aspect, including contraception, and also be working on a bill to provide a statewide ballot initiative, citizen-initiated ballot propositions in the state of Texas, because this extreme abortion ban does not represent the will of the people of the state of Texas. If the authoritarian nationalists who are in control of the Republican Party in Texas actually trusted the voters, they'd put this on the ballot. Because I'm pretty sure that Texans would vote it down. So I really appreciate all the work that y'all are doing. I appreciate all the block walking and all of the phone banking, and let's keep it up. I'm going to be block walking and phone banking every weekend and every place I can. And also, I love these cool little Post-its that people are putting in women's bathrooms saying your vote is private, so do the right thing and vote Democrat. So that's all I've got to say. I put into the chat my email and my telephone number and my website. Feel free to give me a call. Also, I will put the bit.ly/Texas calls into the chat too, in case anybody wants to join me in phone banking. It's fun, and if you get some friends together, it's particularly fun.
So up next, we want to thank you, Sarah, so much for joining us today. A great, amazing candidate. Look, y'all, I've been working in Texas for 15 years, and you'll notice today, every single one of our candidates is out in the mix, y'all, out in the trenches, block walking, phone banking, organizing. That gives me goosebumps. It makes it difficult to, do our Zoom call, but also it's exciting because we know you guys are out there doing the good work, and we appreciate all of you for the sacrifice you're making. And speaking of sacrifices, Jennifer Lee, running for House District 55. She is running in Killeen, y'all, a military town, a very hard, difficult place to organize in. I'm very close to Killeen. I have family, multiple generations who have been stationed in Killeen, so I consider it a hometown in a sense. Jennifer was born and raised in the piney woods of Northeast Texas. She spent years working for survivors of domestic violence and later became a public school teacher. She's a member of the Bell County, Texas Democratic Women, the Coalition of Black Democrats, a Rock Rose Foundation on the board of directors for Rock Rose Foundation, and 4C Head Start in Bell County. Jennifer supports COLA, a cost of living adjustment for public educators and pensions, Medicare expansion, improving our state's water infrastructure to reduce water shortages and better cope with increased demand. Jennifer Lee, again, is one of those unsung heroes. She has raised over $100,000 in Killeen, y'all. Her district is within 5 points. Give her flowers today. Jennifer Lee, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Like everybody, I was out block walking today, so sorry if I look tired and rough. But we have a shot, y'all. I am here to tell you, I cover Temple, Belton, Nolanville, Harker Heights, and a portion of Killeen. And, I'm out knocking on the doors, talking to people in the community. I've been a teacher here for the past 13 years, and it feels kind of awesome to have all of my former students are finding me. They are excited that their teacher is running. Chrissy, I see your shirt that says coach. Like, I coached Little League here in town, so it's almost like I keep hearing, Coach Lee, Coach Lee. And so people are so excited. So I love that that's a thing that, is happening with Tim Waltz, but it's also happening here in Bell County because I'm Coach Lee. Like, that's, who I've been for the past few years. But, as we're talking to people, I'm emphasizing that it's so important not to get caught up on parties and, explaining to people that at some point, we all have to stop voting against our own best interest. And I've mostly been talking to Republicans when I say that because, they say, oh, I care about, healthcare, or I'm frustrated that I can't afford my insulin, or, they're talking about the things they care about, but they're wearing a Trump shirt while doing it. And you have to say, well, honey, you're voting against your best interests. Here's what we do as Democrats. Here are the people that care about the same things you say you care about. How about we vote for them? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. Stop getting hung up on a party because, so many conversations stop as soon as someone says, okay, are you a Democrat or a Republican? And we have to talk to people about getting past that point and actually listening to what people have to say and what they care about. And I find that once those conversations actually happen, once we get past that whole, oh, it's a Democrat, but she cares about the same things I do. Oh, she's a Democrat, but we have so much more in common than we have different. And I'm working on getting people to understand that. And my message is about unity, and let's just vote for the best person for the job. And so, going out on the streets and having those conversations, and it's very powerful. It's time consuming, yes, but it is absolutely worthwhile to make sure that people understand why we're inviting them to participate in this process and why it's in their own best interest to vote for the people who care about the things that they do. And I look at my endorsers like the National Association of Social Workers, the teachers organizations, AFL-CIO, and the, elected officials like Senator Sarah Eckhardt and, Roland Gutierrez and so many others. And I explain to people, just like with public schools, these are folks who care about everybody and they want the best for absolutely everybody, regardless of your socioeconomic status, regardless of, how much money you make or, where you live, things like that. They just want everybody to win. They want the best for everyone. Pick people that want to see everybody succeed and want the best for everybody. That's how we all win when we start doing that. So that's the message that I'm coming out with. Let's come back together and, love each other. We're more alike than we are different.
Go, Coach, go.
Thank you, Future Representative Lee. So I have the honor of introducing our next speaker. We're almost through the end, y'all. We are getting very, very close. So thank you for everyone holding out with us. This is Representative Jon Rosenthal. If I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, Representative, I believe you flipped a seat. It was like 2018, I want to say. But Rosenthal has been doing really great work in the Houston area, served on the Agriculture Committee, and as a rancher myself, that is always very much appreciated. But with that, I'll go ahead and pass the mic to Representative Jon Rosenthal. You have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't know if you can see or hear me. Hopefully.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
All right, good. Well, thanks. And excuse me for being in the car right now. I'm actually coming back from the Katy Pride Festival. So this was our second annual Katy Pride. And of course, I spend my week canvassing neighborhoods. After 3 contentious elections, and you're right, I flipped a seat from red to blue in 2018. And that's actually the message that I want to bring. But the way that it goes is if we all pull together, we can make things happen. And nobody gave me a shot in 2018. I'm a mechanical engineer from the oil and gas industry, no experience in politics, ran for office as an anti-Trumper, for public education, access to healthcare. My big deal is to fight bigotry and discrimination in all of its forms. So that's basically the whole platform. And nobody gave me a shot because my predecessor Republican had been in the seat for 24 years. And we started getting out in neighborhoods and talking to people and recruiting volunteers. And we flipped a seat nobody expected us to flip. And we beat the dude soundly. So that's my message today is grassroots organizing, talking to your neighbors, getting everybody on board. That's how we win elections. And when Democrats win elections, good things happen. So when we flipped a bunch of seats in 2018, this state saw fit to make it a historic investment in public education. And we need to do that again right now. Like, public education is a really big deal. So I'm just going to encourage you to volunteer, help out, run for office, do whatever you do. But when we all pull together, that's how we win. So thanks so much for giving me a minute to talk to you. Jon Rosenthal, House District 135.
Good afternoon. My name is Fatim Nachi in Austin, Texas. I sit on the advisory board for the Texas Progressive Caucus, and thanks to the Progressive Caucus for doing this. Right now, I would like to introduce my state representative and one of my favorite state reps in Central Texas, Vikki Goodwin, House District 47. Representative Goodwin is a state representative serving her third term in the Texas legislature. She represents Western Travis County, including parts of Austin and the Lake Travis area. She was successful in passing 4 bills into law: Drowning Prevention, Catches Act, Violence Prevention, the Natalie Cox Act, Acute Tax Expansion, and the creation of the Food Security and Resilience Council of Texas. Vikki is passionate about investing in public education, expanding access to affordable healthcare, protecting the environment, and making communities safe through sensible gun regulations. I'm so honored to introduce my state rep, Vikki.
Hi, thank you, Hatem. It's great to be here. I assume everyone can hear me. All right, so I'm in my car. We're actually pulling into the parking lot. I'm going to Diwali at the Domain. So to help celebrate with Indian Americans their holiday. So thankfully my husband is doing the driving and doing the scouting for parking places. But I'm in my third term, hoping to be in a fourth, with hoping that we can do what happened in 2018. When I came in, we flipped 12 seats, and that made all the difference in the world in the Texas House. If we flip 12 seats this time, we would actually have a Democratic majority, which would mean so much, because right now we have the Republicans fighting over who can be the most conservative. They are fighting to be the speaker so that they can ensure that there are no Democrats as chairs of committees, so that they can make sure that all of their bills pass before even hearing a single Democratic bill. So we certainly don't want that to happen. And like I said, we only have to flip 12 seats and we would have a Democratic majority. And so some of the initiatives that I'm working on for next session are around housing affordability. Coming from my background in real estate, being a real estate broker, I am very familiar with the challenge that particularly first-time home buyers have. And so we're looking at expanding Housing for Heroes, which is a program that helps our first responders. We want to add additional professions to the category and expand the income guidelines for that to help people be able to buy homes. I'm also doing a lot of work around water. We know that as Texas has grown and as we have hot summers and water evaporating from our lakes and reservoirs, there's a lot of concern about, are we doing everything that we need to plan for our water future? And so that's something that I have been working on. Senator Eckhardt mentioned the idea around citizen-led ballot initiatives. I'm also filing a bill and actually had a town hall the other day to talk about this idea that it's the most democratic way when you get people who want to put forward an idea to add a law, change our constitution, or repeal a law. That's your citizen-led ballot initiatives or referendums. And so we talked to Julie Oliver, who has done this at a local level, which is great, but then you end up with a patchwork of laws. And so we want to make sure that we have the ability to do it at the state level. We've seen so many other states put abortion up to a vote of the people of their states. In Texas, we can't do that. And so that's why I think it's really important to change our constitution to allow for citizen-led ballot initiatives and referendums. And you know, I've had the honor of meeting so many of the candidates running for the State House, and it's always wonderful to see them here. I just saw Jennifer Lee, one of the candidates that I've helped with some block walking, along with Jennie Birkholtz and Desiree Venable, and so many of them. And I just look forward to some surprises this November. I think they have been working so hard, talking to voters, letting them know about our schools and how we have to have more Democrats in the legislature to make sure that we continue to oppose vouchers and continue to oppose the governor and lieutenant governor in this desire to privatize our public schools. So with that, I will end, and I just thank all of you for being here to help support some really great candidates. Thank you so much for your support. Bye.
And that means that I am next. So before I move on to introduce Adrienne, let me just get this out of my system. Woo! That was some awesome progressive candidates that we just heard from. So with that out of my system, let me introduce Adrienne Bell. She is running for Texas House District 29. Adrienne is a lifelong Texas resident who has lived in the Pearland area for the past 20 years. As an educator, mother, and grandmother, Adrienne understands firsthand the benefits that having access to a high-quality education can be had for our children. She serves as an educator in the public school educational system in Lamarck, Texas. She has deep commitment to the community and to the education of our students, which led her to run for the state representative in House District 25. She will legislate for common sense politics that uplift our communities and will be a strong advocate for our families, our children, seniors, and veterans. Without further ado, Adrienne Bell.
Well, good evening. I am honored to, I think I turned my video on. I am honored to come after Vikki Goodwin. I really want to thank her for all the work that she has done this election season to help those of us who are running for state rep. I've not seen anyone else put in as much work as she, and I really appreciate that. I am running to be a no for Greg Abbott and he and his billionaire friends who want to bring vouchers into our system. In our district, my opponent is endorsed by Governor Abbott, which says all that needs to be said. And so I will be a firm advocate for our students, for our communities in keeping public education. And it is so exciting for me. I just love today when we get out and go to all the early vote centers and start putting out signs and getting things together. So it's a busy day, it's an exciting day, and I can't wait to vote for Kamala Harris and Colin Allred and Marquetta Green and myself to represent out in this area. So thank you so much for having me a part and just letting my voice be heard.
Thank you, Val. Thank you for joining us. And y'all, this call long, granted it's been long, but if y'all have liked what y'all have been hearing, we just ask, we're making that major ask to support our work by donating to our TXPC GOTV funds, especially if you have it right now. And if for some reason you can, and we would always love your membership because our members matter, because your voice matters. So, Christy?
Yeah, I want to thank you for that, Mia. We are one of the largest caucuses at the TDP. And so if you're able to be a dues paying member, we'd love to have you so we can continue this work. We close every show of the TXPC with an open mic session. We know that this has been an exceptional in the